A nun is sent away to become a babysitter, but she finds music, love, and the Third Reich instead.
Welcome to the Walt Vault with Andre,
Michelle, Emily,
And Luis.
We are a family-friendly podcast where each and every week we watch and review a different Disney movie. Be sure to subscribe on all podcast platforms and YouTube. Enjoy the show. Hello and welcome to the Walt Vault, episode 164.
The 2 felt a little longer than normal.
I thought I'd vary it up a little bit out here.
I mean, we have been around a long time.
Later.
Well, we stopped doing boo 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 boo, so I feel like he has to make it extra exciting.
Yeah, that's true. You can make it longer for each year that we're around.
Okay. That's going to be half the episode next year.
Yeah, I got a notification on my Facebook today. It said from 4 years ago, and it was episode 11, which was Toy Story. I was like, that was 4 years ago?
4 years.
Yeah, we're over 4.
Yeah,
Right.
Crazy.
Well, I always think about it with Addie's birthday because we started 2 or 3 months after she was born?
Yeah,
Yes.
I think so.
She's going to be 5 in
Yeah.
July, so
I know.
boom, chicka, boom, boom, here we are.
Crazy.
I really can't believe it.
Boom, chicka, boom.
How did we
boom.
last that long?
The podcast baby's
We'll
going
see
to
how much longer we
kindergarten.
last,
It's
people,
nuts.
because we're running out of movies, let's be real, but as long as Disney keeps pumping them out.
Dude, I mean, we've talked about it, but the plus just plussed this podcast.
Plus, I would miss you guys' company too much. I would just still come over every weekend. Hi, what up?
Like we don't hang out enough.
Right, yeah.
Michelle has
fine.
been at our house every night for 3 nights,
Yeah.
and none of it had to do with podcasts except for
Nope.
tonight. So you would have been here anyways.
That's true.
Exactly. But,
Last night I was like, oh, Michelle, I guess we'll see you again tomorrow.
Great.
Eventually
yeah,
it
Addie
won't-
today was like, I missed you. When she saw me, I was like, you saw me yesterday. I know.
I know.
But I still missed you. I was like, oh, thank you.
yeah, I mean, eventually it won't matter because Disney's just going to keep buying movie studios and acquiring their movies.
We can do
so,
anything.
Yeah,
we'll be able to do Universal stuff
Yeah.
eventually.
I mean, that's what's happening with this one.
Dude,
This
I'd
week,
be down. Watch Jurassic Park.
that'd be cool.
That'd be cool.
But this week, we are watching the live-action musical film from 1965, The Sound of Music.
Thanks for saying the year, because yesterday I couldn't remember what the movie was from because I haven't really seen it.
We started the movie,
and I was like, what year was this from in the 80s? And Andre was like,
Oh my
65. I was like, oh.
Oh, Michelle was like that.
She was ready for hair bands to pop
Yeah, yeah,
out.
yeah.
I was like, oh, we're going back. Okay.
No, Lederhosen.
I had to reset my brain. I was like, I thought it was from the 80s. I don't know.
Michelle was like,
Lederhosen is a place, not a time, Andre.
Lederhosen is pants, okay? That's what I'm talking
At least you're
about.
going to floss your teeth. You don't want chocolate?
no.
Oh.
Michelle was like that.
Oh.
Was like that girl from 2021 where it's like, they got it was kind of clever getting old new actors to play old time no. So.
Yes, no, I know what you're talking about.
The joke is
I know what you're saying.
fallen.
But yes, before we go into our first impressions, we have a Louis ask a question. I don't know.
All right, y'all. So which one? Since this is a musical, which song was your favorite?
Oh dear. Why would you
first?
Why would you do this to fellow choir people? What song's your favorite?
Well, that means we have a favorite. But Louis, I know which one's your favorite.
Oh, which one's your favorite?
Remind me again. How did they go?
Can you read the list, Andre?
Yeah, read the list of the songs.
Yes, so there's lots of songs in this.
Definitely
this
not the nun
movie.
one for me.
There's The Sound of Music.
They're being rude.
Okay. There's a morning hymn. There's How Do You Solve a Problem Like Maria.
Yeah, which is funny,
There's
but
I Have Confidence in Sunshine. There's 16 going on 17. There's These Are a Few of My Favorite Things. Doe, a deer, a female deer.
Do.
That one's called Do Re Mi. The Lonely Goat Herd. That's the yodeling one. There's
Not Louis saying the other.
there's Edelweiss. Edelweiss. Edelweiss.
thank you. Thanks, babe.
There's the goodnight song, So Long Farewell. I'll be the saying adieu to you.
Dude, I knew all the songs, except for the nun one.
There's Climb Every Mountain.
The bop.
And there is Something Good. Oh, and a processional at the wedding.
Oh, yeah.
But that is it. And then everything else is like a
okay.
re...
I won't lie. I'm kind of like UM's right now. I'm not exactly sure because that first one is just
Are you
so
flossing
iconic.
your ear right now?
The first one is just so iconic that I think that's probably got the best voice out of
Julie Andrews.
Julie Andrews. That first one.
Sound of
she's
Her
great
voice
in all
was
of
just
them.
like on a whole nother, dimension with that one.
Yeah.
But I also like the bop one.
So which one?
What would you say, Mom?
The Climb Every Mountain, where
Yeah.
Mother Superior, and her name's not Mother Superior in here, it's
But,
Reverend Mother.
yeah.
She getting it. Is that the
Oh,
one
yeah.
you're talking about?
Climb every mountain.
Yeah.
The one where it's like go back
Yeah.
to him, right? That was it.
Yeah.
She comes back to the.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I
she's
like
like,
that one.
the
all
monastery.
right.
I like that one
That's
a lot.
not what I was expecting you to say, but
But I
okay.
also like the. Even though it was,
like the Love
even
Me
though
Daughter?
it was so freaking silly, I just kind of like that one. Yeah, kind of.
Well, I'll go next because that's my favorite one because it's so stinking fun to
Yeah.
sing. As soon as it came out, I was like, "High on a hill was a lonely girl." I was like, "I got this." I love yodeling.
Michelle said that several
Michelle
times last night
yodels so
when we were
much.
watching
I
this.
do. When we were
She
kids,
yodels with her Creole
when we were
accent.
kids, and
y'all
you
don't
used-
know.
Well, remember we were talking about yodeling when I made you guys watch "I'll Be Home for Christmas," and they go to that Swedish and I
Yes.
knew like the whole background music,
Yes.
and you were like, "What the heck?"
you
And
were
then
yodeling
I
a
also
lot.
like to yodel when you're in the Matterhorn line too, because
I've
there's
been
yodeling.
to Disneyland with Michelle so many times, and I feel like I've never heard you yodel in the line.
Well, when I was a kid, I was yodeling in the line, but it might be kind of embarrassing as an
then
adult.
several people told her to stop. And,
Yeah, probably.
Hasn't
No, but
come
we
back.
used to yodel like in the car when we were kids and annoy my mom. Me and my older sister would be like, yodelay, yodelay, yodelay. I like that song a lot. But if you're like not saying like the silly song or whatever, then it's probably the Do Re Mi one for me.
I was just about to say, Do Re Mi, I think is my favorite song out of this musical.
Because her voice on another level on that one too, Lou. I don't know if you heard her hit that high note at the end of what.
Oh, yeah.
It was cool.
Like, okay, Julie.
It was very inventive, the song. I think the lyrics to that one are quite
It's
good.
really fun though. I like it because
Yeah.
they're running all throughout the city. So.
Yeah, they're
like
having
that.
little adventures, and they learn how to sing.
Legit.
Emily.
I just love them all.
I know this might be more of a struggle for Emily.
This one is very hard for me because we talked about this on other times that we've talked about this movie, and it's not my first impression because it's the impression. I grew up with this musical. Apparently, my mom gave birth and then was watching, like in her room. I was in the bassinet, and she was watching it on the TV. So literally, my first musical.
You were born with
good
show
one.
tunes in your heart.
Yeah. So no wonder I am the way I am. I'm Maria. I think. How do you solve a problem? Like, is there a name of that song? How do you solve a problem?
It's just
like
called.
Maria?
It's just called Maria.
Maria.
Yeah.
Oh God, it's very. To me, it's very funny.
It is funny, but when I was listening to it, I was like, geez, these people are, you can
know.
believe me. I was like, these
Oh, I know the.
Hey, they're godly women. You don't say that.
Yeah.
yeah, but she's
don't be
coming
rude.
out hard on her.
I'm sorry, they were
The
judgmental.
one that
okay?
looks like my grandma that just passed away is the mean one, and it's so funny.
Yeah, dude.
Oh,
They are very
looks
mean.
just like Grandma Charlotte. Rest in peace.
I like the nuns because they're all great. They're like Maria. I mean,
Their little
she's
personalities are
definitely
cute.
not nun material, but she's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like her. She's just not a nun, y'all. But yeah, so I think that song's maybe one of my favorites because then the wedding scene is my favorite scene, and then they do the reprise.
Yes.
As she's processing.
As she's walking
I
in,
know. It's
she's like,
horrible.
she's a clown. It's like,
It's
hey,
horrible.
it's
I
her
was
wedding
like,
day.
what are you
Like,
guys
hey,
saying?
Hey, y'all get married.
Can you leave her alone a little
Calling
bit?
me a flibberty biscuit on my wedding.
Flibberty biscuit.
So rude. I don't know if that's what they said. but-
Y'all realize that the only way to solve a problem like Maria is to marry her. So
Right,
that's why
yeah.
they play that.
Exactly.
Get it? Get with
Okay,
it.
Get
that's
it.
not a flibberty biscuit, but that's
It's not a
funny.
flibberty
It was
biscuit.
flibberty gibbet.
Close enough.
Flibberty biscuit sounds tastier. Honestly,
I cannot.
give me a flibberty biscuit with some butter on it and some.
What the heck is a
and
flibberty
some jam.
gibbet? A flibberty biscuit sounds
It's
better.
Maria, dude. I don't know
I
what.
have to write it down so I can text it to my mom.
I don't know what a flibberty. Oh, it's a word in the New Oxford American
what does it
Dictionary.
mean?
It means it's a noun, a frivolous, flighty, or excessively talkative person. Oh my goodness, Michelle is a flibberty jib.
Oh no, it's me.
Michelle and
I'm a
Marina.
Liberty biscuit.
Done.
Andre, what's your wife like? Oh, she's a flibberty biscuit.
Don't be like, what?
I feel like we can mic drop the episode right there.
Yeah, episode's over, guys. We'll see you next week. Okay.
Oh gosh, we killed Emily.
Yeah, she's dead. So yeah, that those are our favorite songs. That was Louis asked the question. Thanks for the question, Lou.
You guys can let us know what your favorite song was too. Or if you don't like any of the songs, I don't know.
Please tell us.
Someone out there who's like, I hate this.
So let's move on to
Don't
our
listen to this episode, then back it up.
to our first impressions. Now, Michelle, you had never seen this movie before.
I had seen snippets. I remember the dude
Flibberty
singing
snippets, or-
Edelweiss on. I remember the dude singing Edelweiss on the guitar. Maybe I saw it on a commercial or something like that.
Okay.
And then I remember the hills are alive, obviously. And I know most of the songs, and I know that Julie Andrews sings them,
Yeah.
but I didn't know like the context of them. Like, oh, they're singing that one in a storm or that one outside
Right.
or whatever. So this was my first time like watching it and knowing the story, not just like the songs. You know what I mean?
Indeed.
I told Emily yesterday, I was like, man, I'm so tired. I'm going to watch half the movie tonight and half the movie in the morning because it's a long movie. It's like 2
It is
hours.
2 hours and 55 minutes.
Yeah, it's long, right? It's a
lot of
musical.
movie.
Musicals are
Yeah.
like 3 hours. They are. And I was like, okay, I'm going to watch to the intermission point tonight and I'm going to go to bed and I'm going to wake up in the morning. But I ended up liking it so much that it was like waking me up and I watched the whole thing last night and it went by pretty fast.
Did you fall asleep at all, Andre?
No,
No,
I
he
did not.
didn't.
Boom.
I was awake.
No, he didn't fall asleep at all.
And I was drinking all my sleepy time tea and all kinds of sleepy stuff, but it was keeping me up.
Yeah. Yeah. I really, really enjoyed it. Like a lot. I mean, Rogers and Hammerstein is great. I love their version of Cinderella and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, just Julie Andrews. When we started it, I was like, I could just watch this movie all day just because I could watch Julie Andrews all day and hear her voice all day because
very
she has the
watchable.
voice of an angel.
She really does.
She's literally like the perfect person.
She's my number one, like, what do you call it? Like, star, like, actor, like, my favorite actor, I guess. But it's
Yeah.
more like star. Like, she's
She's a girl.
my girl.
Hey, my girl.
God, I
Yeah.
love her. Anywho.
Julie.
Yeah, so I really, really enjoyed it, and I definitely will watch it again and show it to my kids and stuff. Like, I could watch it again right now and be like, this is fun. And the songs are so fun.
Yeah.
Like, an upbeat. There's a really good storyline. I will say, though, that I hated the captain at first. I was like, F this. If this is where this movie's going, I ain't doing it. And then he finally redeemed. It was like night and day. He like snapped out of it like he was in a coma or something.
Yeah.
I was like,
He
oh,
hadn't heard a song since his wife died.
he's
He
good
was-
now. Okay.
It's that dead wife
Good
coma,
now.
man,
Yeah.
sadly.
But yeah, it was so good. I really enjoyed it. Luis.
This is my favorite Julie Andrews movie. I don't like Mary Poppins. Well,
Well,
no,
you
I
don't like
Mary
it as
Poppins.
much.
This one's just smashes on. Mary
Okay.
Poppins, no doubt.
Now, did you like the history aspect of the movie, or was it mostly Julie Andrews focused?
I always like World War II stuff for sure. So that was a plus.
Yeah.
I think I told you all. I watched it with my mom.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
I've known.
But did you watch it in Spanish or English?
English?
Well, I don't know.
Mama, no. Seriously, English. I don't even know if there's a Spanish.
A Spanish version?
I mean,
Who
someone
knows?
out there made a Spanish version.
Huh.
I'm
That could
sure.
be cool.
Yeah.
I only asked because Luis's mom does not speak English, so I was wondering. But she does watch Hallmark movies all day long.
Yeah.
But I think you
In
can get
English. It's
she
fine.
probably turns on subtitles. You know
Nope.
what I mean?
Nope.
Oh, well, she'll get the gist of it. through body
Yeah.
language.
She's like, hey, they singing. Those are nuns. I'm Catholic.
There you go.
They Catholic.
The nuns didn't want her. I can tell.
That's how my aunt.
My mom's name is, by the way, Maria. So
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
She
She's
heard
like,
that
"That's my
part.
girl.
She's like, you out there singing in the Abbey while you singing in the Abbey? How dare you?
Be like,
I'm not singing in the Abbey.
my Peruvian aunt learned a lot of English, was watching movies. So.
Heck yeah, man.
Indeed.
Well, I'm glad you liked it because, yeah, it was good. Because, if you guys already don't know, Luis is not the biggest fan of musicals like the other 3 podcast people.
Yeah,
over
no.
here. Sometimes we do things with Luis. Sometimes he's not invited.
This one slaps on Hamilton.
Nice.
It slaps on
okay.
Hamilton.
Uh huh.
I don't
I feel like
love
you
that.
can't compare them because
they're not
in
really
no
comparable.
universe are
Is
they
it a
the same.
musical?
Different generations.
A musical?
Yes.
Yes.
Is it
Yes,
based
but
on historical
Hamilton-
events?
It's
Yes.
awesome.
Yes.
Hamilton's in a realm of its own because I can listen to Hamilton and I watched the entire musical. This one I listened to just the songs.
Yeah, you're
I
listen-
don't know the story.
exactly.
So that's why I say Hamilton's in a thing of its own. We
Yeah.
listened to it on the drive down to LA last weekend. I was like, well, I just watched the movie.
Oh, for sure.
Right.
You don't have to watch the stage performance to get the entire show.
No. So Hamilton's in a world of its own to me
Yeah.
because it's completely sung.
Yeah.
Indeed.
But it is very good, Louise. All right. Andre.
Oh, me. Let's see here. I like this movie a lot. I had seen it before, at least one time all the way through. But I mostly remembered the songs. Like I was impressed with how many of the words that I knew to all these songs, knowing that I had only
Granted,
seen
we
this
had the
movie-
subtitles on.
this
And we
movie
couldn't
once.
sing them.
But I mean, even still, like I knew and recognized a lot more of them than
Yeah.
I was expecting to.
Yeah, me too, actually. So.
I think that it's a pretty good story mixed with really good music and really good performances. I think that Julie Andrews is hitting on all cylinders throughout this. I think all the kids do a good job, especially like Liesl, who is an adult actress or whatever, but playing one of the kids. And Christopher Plummer. He really drove it home as like,
That's the
hey,
dad,
guess
right?
what? I'm gonna
Yeah.
he played the captain. He really drove it home that like, hey, I can be the biggest jerk in the world, and I can be a pretty sweet dad if give me two different situations, and I will show you both of them. So I like this movie a lot overall, and I was very scared of the 2 hour and 55-minute runtime. Even when we said we were going to split it up into two viewings, but we watched through the whole movie and it was
We weren't
it was a
tired. It was
breeze.
so weird.
Yeah,
I thought it was like 4 hours.
it was entertaining the whole time.
No.
No, most
I
musicals
too
are
thought
about
it.
3.
I thought it was longer as well, like just in my mind. But it moves through. Like
Yeah.
it's not slow.
It's well paced.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's well paced. I only have a couple qualms with this musical. There's only a
Qualm
few.
with the sound of music.
My qualm is
Hold
that.
on, I want a first impression.
Oh, I'm
Floss
so
your
sorry.
teeth
We gotta have
for
Emily.
you.
Okay.
Let me floss.
You can floss my teeth.
My
if you
first
want.
impression.
Emily,
Get out
first
of
impression.
Michelle's mouth.
I like how we didn't ask Emily because we already know she loves it. But
I do love it, but upon this viewing, I want to say Luis and I might have watched this when we first got married, but I think I was watching it like hoping that he would like it more than I was watching it to
Yeah.
watch it, if that makes sense. But like when Michelle made you watch High School Musical or I'll Be Home for
Yeah.
Christmas, where she's just watching you like you liking it.
and he
He's
made me
like it.
and he
He's
made
like
me
it.
watch Batman with the Penguin.
Oh, that one was
Batman
awful,
Returns.
Sucks.
It's great. It's fantastic.
Awful.
Okay, anywho, so this time watching it, I realized a couple things. The cinematography is awesome for the time period. Like,
Yeah.
and the
They filmed on time.
They filmed a lot on location.
and it's gorgeous. Like,
I agree.
I want to go.
Y'all trying to go to Salzburg?
I'm trying to go to
yeah.
Salzburg.
Go to
Okay.
Vienna too.
Anywho, awesome stuff. I
Were
love
they in
that.
Vienna?
Number 2, I really enjoyed Julie Andrews more this time because we've been doing a lot of like obviously through Disney movies we've watched Mary Poppins, then Mary Poppins Returns,
Princess Diaries.
and
she's in that, right?
and yeah, those type of very stoic roles for Julie Andrews, or
Yeah,
just the character that's stoic. And when you watch her in this, once she like really gets going outside of the Abbey, she is so fun.
lively. Yeah.
She's
Oh,
so
fun,
cute.
yeah.
It's so fun to watch her like
You're right.
run around.
I don't think I had seen Julie Andrews act like that. In
No,
something,
so
you
it's
know?
so fun because she's awesome at it. Like you
Right.
assume that's how she is in real life, just like bubbly and moving around. Like
Singing all the time.
these days,
Can't
she's like
help
high
herself.
fiving people. You know.
That's true. I didn't even think about that. How like between even just Mary Poppins and the Princess Diaries, she's like, I'm not
That's-
smiling.
Those are the
I don't
things
think
I've
so.
seen her in. So I'm like, she is a princess.
Oh, yeah.
she's
But in
a
this,
queen.
yeah, she's
and this
super
one, I was
bubbly.
like, oh, she's like Snow White up in here. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was fun to watch her on screen do that kind of stuff. One of my favorite things that I remember from my childhood is watching the scene where she's going up to the Von Trapp house for the first time and she's singing about having confidence and whatnot. And she's running like full speed and she trips and then keeps running.
Keeps
and
going.
apparently that was like totally, she tripped and
Unplanned.
kept running. And they were like, dude, it was so good. Just keep it in.
Yeah.
And I find that hilarious
Believable.
because
Yeah.
she did a Julie Andrews thing and just kept going.
It was a long take, and she was stumbling over with because she had like luggage in her hands and stuff like that, and she was like, whoa, but he's like, you know what, I got confidence, okay, so I'm gonna keep,
Bye.
I'm gonna keep
She's
walking.
like, I'm cool.
Yeah, girl, work it. So I just enjoyed watching her. And then the third thing for me upon this viewing was like, as a kid watching this, Captain Von Trapp was so scary. So scary, right? As a kid, because you're like, oh my God, he's using a whistle.
The whistle.
Oh my God. And then like this viewing, I'm sorry, Lou, he is so sexy as a man. Like now that I'm older, I'm like, ooh,
Yeah, he is.
Okay.
Yeah, it's weird how we're now
Captain
attracted
Daddy.
to older. We're now attracted to older men. I guess.
He's a
Interesting
captain.
concept.
You know, if he had a little gray in that hair, if we had a little salt and pepper, we would have been over the top.
Daddy Von
I think he
Trapp.
had a little gray in his hair.
I mean, some
Just
real
a little
salt
bit.
on that pepper.
Yeah.
You also said that you never got the historical significance of this movie. You never realized what was going on.
It took me a little bit. First of all, I didn't realize what country they were in until they finally said, we're in Austria.
Oh.
And then he was speaking German, and I was like, are they in Germany? But then the Nazis would already be here if they were in Germany.
Yeah.
So, like, until they finally were like, we're in Austria, I was like, I know it's in the UK. It's not London, it's not. I was like, where are we? And then once I knew, I was like, okay. But you've seen it so many times, you obviously know it's Austria.
So I
think for me, because I hadn't seen it, it
Yeah.
took me a while to get the history.
Yeah. No, I understand that, but it's funny because Luis is right. When I was watching it this time, it's the nuances of the political part that I didn't get as a kid. Like,
and it's like very suspenseful when it's happening.
Like when they're at the party and then what was his name? The bald guy.
Yeah.
Right?
Her dum dum.
Hair dum
Pretty much. He comes in and he's like,
Where's your...
He's like, oh,
Nazi
you got
flag?
the Austrian flag up? And like, I mean, as a kid, I was just like, yeah. Ooh, it's that one.
Herr Zeller.
Yeah, Herr Zeller.
Like, you live in Austria.
Yeah. So Herr Zeller comes in and you're like, ooh, yeah. And he's like, well, you should be flying another flag. And as a kid, I probably was just like, all right, like,
Okay.
what flag?
But
we
is
doing?
Austria, like, right next to Germany?
It's nearby.
It's close, but
South.
wasn't that the first?
They touch borders.
They touch
touch
borders on the
borders.
south? Okay.
Germany,
Yep.
yeah.
Wasn't that one of the first ones they
Southwest.
took over,
Southeast.
occupied?
that they occupied.
Yeah.
It wasn't the first
Probably.
one because the first one was Belgium.
No, they annexed Austria right away.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, they came
So,
in.
yeah,
they
this
did
is still
their,
early in
look
the-
at us being bad
in the war.
But they come on in
Yeah, I
and they
know.
just occupy. And I just didn't get that as a kid, which obviously that's not something
Right.
you would normally do. But this time I was like, oh, there is some
That
real
one was
tension
done.
in here.
That one was done easily. No, almost just. I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly,
No
there was
fighting.
No fighting.
Oh yeah.
He's just like, hey, I'm Austrian.
Hey, you guys are gonna
Let's
listen to
go
me,
ahead.
right?
We speak the same language. We're all Aryan. Let's just roll on through.
And I think that's
away,
why
sir.
I liked Christopher Plummer even more in this.
Yeah.
Because he, like, in no way was a sympathizer. He was
No,
like,
yeah.
he's like, you can all go F yourselves because we are Austrian. We
Yeah.
are not Nazis. We are not German. Like, I just
You better
appreciated the
get that
Well, that's why
fuck
when
off
you
my
were-
house and he
Oh.
rips it in half.
When you were talking about him being sexy, I was like, oh, yeah, in the last 30 minutes he was. Because he was like, nah, I ain't messing with this.
Yeah.
He was like, I ain't getting no Nazis. I was like, get it, bro.
You
But then
know.
where is Switzerland in relation to Austria?
I believe Switzerland's to the left.
West.
Or the west. To the
To
left.
the left.
On the map,
to the
it's to the left.
Technically,
Yeah,
that
you're
is
right.
the left. But yeah,
Okay.
so it was cool to see the more.
So they're all in the
political parts,
same
too.
vicinity.
South left.
I just forget that Europe is so small
South left.
that, like,
So you mean the down left?
Down
Yeah,
left.
down left.
Southwest, like all of Europe
It's
can
down
freaking
east.
fit in California. Like,
We're being ridiculous.
where are we? Oh, you mean you traveled from the Central Valley to Southern California? Okay, okay.
Yeah, I went left.
We went up.
We went
I've
inland.
done that before when we're in Disneyland and people ask us where we're from, and I'm like, up. We're up in
Up
the
there.
middle.
You guys are
Isn't that
angels?
The truth. Yes, we came from up
From
in
the
the
sky.
California be confusing, man. All right, very good. Oh, I guess I should say what my qualms were.
Oh, sure.
I had,
Hit us with the qualms.
I
Go ahead and
had,
qualm so that you can be dequalmed.
I think I was gonna say I had 3 qualms, but maybe we're gonna go with there was just 2 qualms.
Tree qualms. Oh,
Yeah.
My biggest qualm was that what's the dad's name? The captain?
Captain Georg.
Georg.
Georg went from bad guy to good guy in 5 seconds. 5 seconds. Like, I was like, did you just wake up from a coma and you were like, I'm not evil anymore? Like,
he was never evil.
Right. He
well,
wasn't evil.
he was not a good father. But for me, that transition wasn't smooth, just based on one song being
was fast.
sung.
But
I was like, what?
There was good setup for it. I would
He was
say.
gone for like 3 or 4 months after she came.
Right.
I know.
It wasn't like 5 minutes.
No,
So-
but I'm saying on screen, it was like he was that dude, and then he wasn't, like, really quick to me.
Sure.
Like, I think I almost needed him to wake up the next morning and be like, hey,
You
I'm
need to
sorry.
sleep on it first.
Like I think if he the next morning had apologized to her or something, then I would have been more like, okay.
I liked it. And only because, like I said, I think that they set it up kind of well. They mentioned that his wife has recently died, and he's been left alone with these children, and they've gone through a gajillion governesses who just can't get it right or whatever. He when we meet him, he comes off super strong with this militaristic style of raising the children with his freaking whistles.
I hated him. I was like,
Favorite is
literally
like, I want to call you it.
Dude, when she rips the whistle right out of his mouth, I was like,
She's like,
He
I
was
can't.
like, "You're
I
not
can't.
whistling
I'm
at
not
me."
a dog." But so he goes through all that. Then he's off to go get his booty call or whatever in Switzerland.
He legit has like a side piece. Like,
Yeah.
I'm only a side chick. I'm only hitting you up when I'm hitting you up.
Yeah. I'm coming over. All
No,
right.
I'm coming because
but
my
you know,
God
Prep the
is
stagecoach.
godliness.
I'm coming over.
all censored stuff aside, that kind of it seemed a bit normal for the time. With like,
Right.
oh, that was normal.
yeah, like
That's gotta
you would
go
if you were dating somebody and you were serious about them, that's how it would kind of
Yeah,
work
Right.
out.
You have to
She
go
was, like,
court.
high society, so it's not like he would go
She
to
was
her because
a baroness.
Yes.
Well, yeah,
that
that's
means she
true.
was.
She was high
Her
up.
dude was a baron, but he died.
Right,
and she's
yeah.
rich too, which I like.
Exactly.
I like the fact that there wasn't any like underlying thing. It really was.
Yeah.
They're very fond of each other. They liked each other, and it wasn't her trying to get rich or anything like. I
yeah.
don't like that.
But
kind of
melding
stuff.
their two families would be good for both of them,
Yeah.
technically.
Okay, so that was that qualm, although it's
Also,
not that
though,
big.
Let me say about
Okay,
that
okay.
is I think if you really watch his facial expressions, he is amused with the fact that she is like countering him.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
He's not happy about it, but he's like, this. Sorry.
But that's why I said I think I just needed him to be intrigued by the song and touched by it, and then like have a
By the
twinkle
song?
in his eye, and then when the kids were singing,
Right, so
and
that
then
was-
the next morning had been like, I'm really sorry.
So that was my other
I
thing.
just
Oh,
needed
hold on.
I needed some time. I didn't need him to be like, wow, my kids are awesome. I was like, okay.
that was the other
like if I
thing.
was the kid, I'd be like, this is some BS. All of a sudden, you're like, I'm cool.
That was the other thing. I was okay with it because he had just come back from his 3-month booty call or whatever, and even though he definitely wasn't about to say it, he did miss his children, right? And so he comes back, they're acting a fool, but then they start singing. It immediately puts him back into the mind of seeing his wife and the music that she brought into the house and stuff like that. And when he saw them singing, and then they were singing a song that he knew, and he started singing the song, I was like, oh, okay, they got him.
Yeah, I mean,
he didn't.
That's pretty normal.
He had shut down all
I don't know.
mention of his wife and of music and of like fun in the house or whatever because he was like grieving. But once it was sprung upon him, I think that he was like, oh, this was actually good stuff, and I didn't need to ban it from the
That's
house.
fine.
And
I mean,
it
I
feels
I don't
good.
disagree with you. I'm just saying it was a qualm of mine.
Sure.
Your qualm is the like, you just got to look at it in terms of trigger. It was the trigger for him,
Yeah, I
all of
get
a
it.
sudden, everything else is just brought.
Right.
It just seemed a little unrealistic, in my opinion. My
Sure.
other qualm, which
Have you ever had suppressed trauma, Michelle? I'm only asking.
yeah, probably.
I'm not trying to disagree with you because I would probably have thought that too, but I've had situations, this sounds so dramatic, but I've had situations where like I had tampered down some kind of feeling for whatever reason, and then it's reintroduced and it's like, oh God, okay.
Oh, okay. This isn't nearly as bad as I
Yeah.
thought it would be.
And so I kind of understand that, but I agree that like at least on screen it seemed like it was night and day. Like
On
moment to
screen it
moment.
did for me.
Especially
And
because
then
he was so mad when they came out of the water. Like
Yeah,
after they
he
get
is.
dumped out of the boat, he comes out,
He
go
was
get
so
dressed, go get dry, and then they're immediately singing. He's like, all right, let's do it.
I was
Okay,
like, how'd
this is
their hair
cool.
get dry so fast? What the heck? They were only arguing for like 5 minutes.
1920s hair
I
dryers.
told maybe we'll go with this. I told Andre that in the and you can ask Emily and everyone, I would say I'm a very emotional person, and I care what people think of me, and I care of other people's stupid opinions and blah, yada, yada.
Sure.
Well, since I've been pregnant, my pregnancy superpower is I don't care no more. I really don't care no more.
No more.
So maybe when I was watching it, I was like,
More.
this some BS. And I bet if it was before pregnancy, I would be like, oh, that's so nice. And right now I was like, whatever, he's full of it. Like,
Pregnancy has shut down Michelle's emotions.
It's like we swapped places. It's so weird.
Yeah.
I'm over here like tearing at things.
no, I didn't cry in this movie at all. I was
I
like,
didn't tear at this, but
no, just other thing. I'm like, what's wrong with me? Oh, I guess I'm pregnant. I don't know. I flip-flopped. It's my superpower right now. My other qualm is that they cast Liesel, the person who played her, was way too old. So, like, when they first showed the kids, I was like, oh my gosh, they're so cute. And then the last kid, I was like, what the heck? That's an adult.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Liesel is too old.
who is that? And Andre's like, I think she's like 16. I was like, no, she ain't.
Well, the
and I was
character-
getting like
that's-
upset.
I was talking
huh?
about the character.
I know,
16, yes.
but they needed to cast someone that looked that
Yeah.
age. Like Tom Holland is older, but he plays a good high schooler.
I mean, sure.
You know what I
This
mean?
is a long time ago.
And I was like, Andre, how old is that girl? I was like getting frustrated. And he was like, she's 23. And I was like,
So
no wonder.
Liesel is definitely the kid with the most lines
She looks
in
like
the
a
movie,
woman.
right? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
they had to have someone a little bit more sophisticated to play her role.
That's
And I
fine.
don't think that they needed to necessarily choose someone in their 20s. They probably could have found a teenager, but, you know, they definitely, during the casting process, found whoever the
Well,
lady
Well, because her
Liesel.
voice sounds more mature too. So when
Yeah.
she's singing it, I'm like, that's not a 16-year-old girl singing it. The guy, I could believe that one a little more, like
Oh,
her
yeah.
Rolf.
boyfriend, Rolf or whatever. I was like, okay, that one was okay. But then he was supposed to be older than her, and I was like, it was just throwing me off. It was
Yeah.
just a casting thing.
I mean,
yeah, no, I agree. She looks older than 16.
being a high school teacher, I mean, no, man. Some of those kids, they look like I
They
look
look
at some
older.
of
Yeah.
like the athletes on the team. I'm like, man, these are grown men, you know.
Yeah, that's
Really
true.
They look old.
It's true.
Right before recording, we all went out to dinner together, and I apparently made a semi full of myself. I didn't realize it, but we were getting up to leave, and a whole bunch of people started shuffling in right next to our table, and
Yeah.
the first person I saw was a girl dressed like super fancy. She had like
They're all wearing quite
she was-
fancy
And their
dresses.
dresses were
Dazzled and
short.
stuff.
They were like going to a dance, it looked like.
Yeah, and I was like,
Andre
oh,
or Emily
hi.
didn't put that together.
I was like, oh, they look so pretty. And then apparently Louis said one of the girls looked at me like, and then another girl smiled, and I was like, oh, I mean, they were just bedazzled. I thought
No,
I
no,
would
no.
say they look pretty.
One of them, it was the noise that you made.
Yeah, you
Or
said
one of them was like,
What did I do?
they walked by and you were like, oh!
They
here's the
were
deal.
probably like this old
no,
crazy girl.
But here's the deal, like
you.
you had no intention, but like I could imagine a male catcalling like that.
Right.
You
Yeah,
know?
you
And-
you
Maybe, I
catcalled
don't
them
know.
basically, Emily.
No, I think they were judging us because we're old. So, anyways, I looked at Emily. I was like, "Oh, there must be a winter formal or something tonight." And she was like, "You think those are high schoolers?" And I was like, "Those are definitely high
definitely
schoolers.
high
High schoolers look like that now."
I even asked the waitress, I was like,
Are
are
they
they
high
in
school?
college or
She was
high
like,
school? She's
"Oh, high
"Nah,
school is
they're
like
in
a
high
winter
school."
formal,"
Oh.
and I was like, "Yeah, they look like." Older now.
Yeah, no, I
okay,
thought
when
they
we
were
did
older.
our makeup, we was wearing blue eyeshadow and our eyebrows weren't great, and now they look like models.
And your
I
hair
love
was
watching-
teased to the skies.
And we had a
Don't
side
make
part.
fun of me. I was
Not a
cute.
middle part. We were very cute. But yeah, the generations have changed, okay?
Michelle had bangs back then.
I
Right.
Yeah, and my
I
hair was
was
45 inches high.
I was banging, okay? Straight banging.
So yeah,
She was
Liesel's
a bop.
appearance didn't bother me too much either.
It was bugging me though, huh? I kept looking at Andre.
You
like,
mentioned it
"How
several
is this
times.
present?"
Who's this lady in
Like,
here?
that ain't no kid. Because all the other kids I thought were so stinking cute. Cast absolutely perfectly.
Did anyone else have to
Yes.
say it 85 times?
Oh yeah,
Gretel.
Lisa and I
Gretel.
kept saying like, "Oh my god, that's so cute."
I was like, Gretel's the cutest. Anytime when she's singing the Goodnight song, I was like, come
Little
on.
cheeks.
Come on, Gretel.
Come on.
I wrote
What
down
a what a such an Austrian name, Gretel.
I wrote
Well,
down
all of them.
all their
I know.
names and ages.
With the L's at the
Yeah,
end.
what are their names and
Liesel,
ages?
Friedrich, he's 14. Louisa is 13. Brigitte is 10. Brigitte. Oh, yeah, I wrote it wrong. That's
okay.
right.
Brigitte.
Autocorrect didn't like Brigitte. Kurt is 11. Marta is 6, turning 7. And then Gretel is 5.
So cute.
Yeah, it's a lot of kids.
The kids were cast perfectly.
Yep,
Other
super
than the
cute.
one. That bugged me a little bit, but it was fine. Those were my only qualms. I mean, they're not really big qualms.
No,
Those
I
were just
feel
the
ya.
things that when I was watching, I was like,
Yeah.
if you had just tweaked that one thing. But that's me being like a casting director. I didn't cast
For
these
sure.
people.
That's true. So yeah, just to give
but Julie Andrews, I mean, come on.
right,
Good Lord.
just to give
Nobody can outcast her.
a little bit of context. So this whole story is based on the stage play The Sound of Music, which is based on the 1949 memoir called The Story of the Trapp Family Singers, which was written by the original Maria von Trapp.
Which I had no idea. I just assumed that Rodgers and Hammerstein wrote this story. When it said Rodgers and Hammerstein, like on the screen when it came up, I was like, oh, okay. They wrote it.
I mean, yeah, and that would make sense for it to be an original story, but it's quite complex. It's like there's a nun, and then she's a babysitter, and then she gets married, and then they run away from Nazis. It's a whole.
It was just
thing.
Mary Poppins and the Parent Trap put together, I'm telling you.
With swastikas, there's all kinds of crazy stuff going on in
They took the name
here.
of the trap and they put it as their last name. And they added Nazis.
Exactly. So there were some some differences between the memoir and the original play, the Rodgers and Hammerstein play.
Okay.
Mostly just the fact that some of the stuff was exaggerated. Like I think Maria got to the Von Trapps and got married to the captain pretty early on. And originally she was just there like for the kids, but wrote in the memoir that she fell in love with him a little bit later. And then he died just a couple of years after they had made it away
sad.
from the terror that
I'm not gonna lie, I thought he was gonna
Europe in the
die in
40s.
this movie. I was like, he's gonna die, and this is gonna end sad. Because a lot of times somebody does die in a musical.
Oh yeah,
just like
musicals
in
give
general. In
zero
general,
anything.
someone.
They're like, you come out here, you dying.
I kind of relate this to Oklahoma, like it's kind of similar, you know, and someone dies in that one. So when I was watching it, I was like, well, he toast.
No, I feel you.
Yeah, and that would make sense after his whole turn to good in the musical.
Right? Oh, you like him now? Dead.
I don't think so. He's getting a Nazi bullet.
Yeah, that whole last part after the interlude gets
very tense. Very
like,
tense.
Ooh.
Yeah, this movie kind of runs you through the gamut of emotions, right? Because it starts off and it's like, oh, Maria, she's silly, she's crazy. She goes over there, she's messing with the
Gets
kids.
kicked out of the freaking.
They're like,
Abbey
Maria,
Vault.
you can't be here anymore.
not a
You've
good
gotta go. Go take care of 7
You
children.
are not taking no vows. Bye.
Instead of being a nun. And when she goes over
Actually,
there,
go take other vows.
Yeah. Go take some different types of vows. And she goes over there, and the kids are mean to her at first because they're mean to all of the new governesses. They don't like their babysitters in general.
And why though? We discover. Oh no, we're still she's there.
I mean,
First time there, right?
Yeah,
That's where we're at.
It's the first time there.
Okay.
They put like a pine cone on a chair. They what else did they do to her? They
Put a frog in her.
They put a frog in her pocket, which made her scream. And all the while she's dealing with the mean captain or whatever. But as he leaves, she is able to get to know the children a little bit better, a little bit more personally, and then she starts bringing music into their lives, and the songs just hit the entire time as she's going.
And she discovers ultimately that the reason why they were doing that to the governesses was they're like, that's the only way to get father's attention.
Exactly, because he has become cold and distant since his wife died, and
Which, and I mean, in some ways, I'm not saying it's right, but because he was a naval captain, I think it was like Herr Schmidt was explaining, like, you know,
this is all he knows how to do.
this is
It's
how
all
he
he knew.
acted, so like, this is how he acts here.
He probably wasn't around his kids like a lot anyways. You know what I mean?
Right.
But they were acting like the kids were so bad and nothing they did was that crazy.
No.
In my opinion, I'm with
Yeah.
kids all day, every day. Well, they put a frog in her pocket and she sat on a pine cone. I was
Well,
like,
they
it
did
could
say
have
that
been.
they put spiders on one of the ladies' beds.
Oh,
I would
yeah.
have killed a kid.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
But
Take that out of the
Oh,
recording.
you want let me beat that.
But
up.
it wasn't like okay, but it like that's not that bad in my opinion.
Spiders in a bed isn't that bad.
I mean, it is, but it could.
a jar of spiders.
My nephew would probably put a spider in someone's bed. He
Well,
loves
you wanna know
bugs.
about that nephew?
He loves bugs, but
My kids start loving bugs, they're gonna live outside. No.
but it
outside
could
with
have
them
been.
bugs.
It could have been. I mean,
Oh,
yeah,
it could
a
have been way
spider
worse.
in my bed would be bad. But for what they did to her, they put a frog in her pocket. okay. And then she sat on a pine cone. I was like, I'd reverse psychology on them too. Like exactly what she said to them at the dinner table. I was like, you go, girl.
I won't lie. That
was very
funny.
like.
I think that's when Luis was like, oh, like, oh, she's just gonna make them cry. Oh,
That's right.
Yeah, but what did I tell Andrea? I said, as a mother, I'm gonna be firm but affectionate, and she was like, I'm just so glad that all of these people. I was like,
I've been treated
I
so
love this
nicely
girl.
since I got here.
Well,
Wow.
when she's praying at night and she knows that Liesel's gonna come through that window because she saw her leave.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, and bless Liesel. And Liesel's standing there and he's like, oh. She's
Yeah.
So funny.
She's very funny.
She is using those prayers. It was very funny.
She was using behavior analysis for sure. I say stuff like that to the kids all the time. They're like, "What?"
Yeah, she
And
was,
I'm like, "Yeah, you
she was
better."
reverse psychology and all over these
Reverse
kids.
psychology for sure, dude.
Yeah.
Great good stuff.
Including with the My Favorite Thing song. So after Liesel comes in from her date with Rolf or whatever, where she sings 16 going on 17, all the kids
I love that song.
rush into the room that she's in, and it's like her first night there still, I think, and they're all scared of the
But they
thunderstorm that's
and they
happening
feel really
outside.
bad. Actually,
They feel bad for-
she made the kids feel bad, so they're kind of like
They're gonna sitting on
"Okay."
that pine cone.
No, it's Gretel that goes in there first because she's scared of the thunderstorm.
Right. And
Yeah.
everybody else comes piling in. Oh, and then they're like,
Lisa was already there though. Huh?
yeah, Lisa was like in the bathroom, but they were like, "Where are the boys? They aren't here." Like they're like, "Boys are never scared." And then the boys come running in. They're like, "We just want to make sure you guys were all right."
It reminds me of Addie yesterday. Addie yesterday was asking me what's an earthquake. And I told her what an earthquake was, and she was like, "Well, I don't like that." And I was like, "Well, that's what it is." And she was like, "You have to go under the table when there's an earthquake." And I was like, "Yeah, you do. You're right." But I was like, "Why is she asking me this?" Yeah, that's totally on point. I was scared of thunderstorms. Were you?
No, thunderstorms were
I
very
was
cool.
scared of
Always.
thunderstorms.
I don't think it was on my radar.
But I was
because
afraid
don't
of the
remember
dark.
Either way.
I was afraid of the dark too, so I was definitely one of those Gretel kids coming into my dad's room. Daddy, what's that?
Well, and this I
love
the
that
next
the
part
song.
is
It's so
quite
good.
hilarious because they sing the song and then you hear like a door slam somewhere in the
Yeah.
song, and then Captain Von Trapp comes in and is like,
Hey,
"What the heck is going
He's like,
on
I
in
said
here?"
it's quiet.
who told y'all you could sing?
Oh my! I know, right? And she pretty much, he's like, "Do I have to tell you I'm leaving
in the morning?"
And she's like, "No, but can you get me some material so I can make some clothes?" And he's like, "Yeah, we'll work on it or whatever." And then Luis goes, "Oh, I know what she's gonna do."
She's gonna enchanted that
Yeah,
that
because
curtain.
the housekeeper.
No,
had
he said no.
Right.
"Oh, did he say
He had
no?"
given her
'cause
some materials.
She said why for playing clothes.
Play
He's like,
clothes.
they don't need playing clothes.
They
or
don't
something
play.
Like that. They don't play.
My kids don't play.
I was like,
Kids don't
okay,
play.
your kids
and
don't
then
play.
she walks over to the curtains that are
curtains.
getting changed apparently, and then the next moment the kids walk out of the gate wearing the drapes,
Wearing the curtains.
wearing the coolest curtain clothes ever.
Heck
They
yeah,
look
they
pretty
look like
good.
they were living their best life. They were like, wee, let's go. I was like, Dad's not here. He's not militarying this fort over here.
It's summer vacation.
They got a governess they like. Yeah, it's summertime. They ain't got to go to school. It's time to party.
But to me, it seems like they only wore. I think they would be very prissy children. They wouldn't have just put on those curtains or those are the curtains. You know, we're not. But because she made them and
Right.
they
Oh,
like
yeah.
at that, I think
don't
a
think
little
she
bit
told
of
them
time
they were
might have
curtains.
passed.
Sure.
I don't think it was the next morning
might
unless
have been like
she
a week
knows
or
how to
something.
just sew like no one's
She
business.
sewed through the night.
It was a few
I'm sure
weeks.
a little
No,
time
it
had
might
gone
not have been
by,
the next
but
morning, but the next scene, like the moment you're
Yeah.
done with her holding it, they're walking out of the gate. So it's very
Yeah.
cute to see that transition.
Yeah, it was a good.
anyways,
transition.
Well, I don't
they
remember
liked
which-
her at this point.
I don't remember which kid it is. I think it might have been Brigida, but right when they meet her, she's like, "I'm 9, and your dress is the ugliest dress I've ever seen."
That's right. I was like, dang.
I think it is
Brigida,
Brigida, yeah.
Okay, chill out.
You're like, "Well, this is
And doesn't
intense."
she say something like, "Did you get it from like a second store or something?" He's like, "Yeah, because apparently nobody wanted it or something like
Right.
that."
Yeah.
She says something to that
Oh,
effect.
the captain says that.
They have money, so yeah.
Like, did you not have any other dresses? Oh no, the poor didn't want this.
Yeah,
one. He's
that's
like,
right.
"Oh,
Yeah.
hey."
All my worldly possessions were given away to the poor, but they didn't want this. Very
Oh, it's
funny.
I was like, dang,
It's
I
good.
thot her dress was fine. There, the next scene,
That wool, man.
I think it's the next scene where she's wearing like a corset over her dress because that's like the look. I was like, damn, Julie Andrews is snatched.
Yeah,
I was like,
several
she
times.
is a mama right there. Look at that waist, that booty. Andre was like, yeah, she's great.
I was agreeing with everything Michelle said.
She looks snatched in that dress. I was
she
like,
looks
y'all making fun of her
Very
dresses,
good.
but she looks snatched, okay?
No,
Julie
she looks
Andrews can get it. Okay.
Yeah, she's so cute.
So yeah, she goes to she takes the children out on a town and she teaches them things about stuff that they didn't know before, like to sing. Like we don't know how to sing. She's like, oh, okay.
She's like, I'll teach you the scale. This is kind of hard to remember though, so I'll make a
Yeah,
song
she's
out
just
of it.
making up words on the spot.
And obviously, I think most
Dude,
people,
that song always reminds me of Aristocats.
yeah.
Arpeggio.
Oh yeah. It's like
Yeah.
the
I
arpeggios.
always thought they were saying SpaghettiOs. Anyways, back to Sound of Music.
I don't know. Maybe it's just because I grew up a choir person, but every choir person knows this song. Like, I feel like
Right.
most people know this song. But upon this viewing of this, I was like,
Wait, this is the first time you watched it.
Yeah.
well, but I
But
know
she's
the
heard the
song.
song. She knows
I knew all of the songs.
Upon this hearing,
Except for like 3 of them. Like the nun one I didn't know. The confidence one I didn't know. And I didn't know the one about being something good. But all of the bangers I knew.
Yeah.
You know? But I was getting annoyed when we were listening to the song because I was singing it. I was like, she thought of a good line for every single note except for la. She's just like, la, a note to follow.
note to follow. So come on.
I
now.
was like, okay. What? Wait. What?
Like y'all don't just know the solfege.
But it's like she has a good way to remember every note except for la, and I was like, oh man, she messed up on the la.
Do is a deer, Ray is the sun, me is me.
I call myself
La, you know, it
fa.
comes, it comes
run
after
really
so,
far.
dude.
So is needle pulling thread. La, you know, it follows so.
I mean,
Andre was like T with his pinky.
The pinky. The best part is that's exactly how Andre drinks, though. Every
It
time
does.
is a
It is.
pinky.
Yeah, pinky up. That's such a great song though too.
It's fun. Yeah, and the choreography or the blocking of it
So
is
cute.
really fun to watch. The it's very enchanted, like you know, like where the bikes are coming and
Right.
then they're jumping around on the.
I like when
fountains
they're
and
on the
stuff.
stairs and they're doing the like do
yeah.
so fa, no. And then Julie Andrews is like
Well, yeah,
Oh, that face!
Hitting that-
Yes,
hitting
she
that
comes
note.
in looking like Michelle.
Julie though. She great.
So the next scene after this is
Wait, do it, baby.
Come on, do it. We make him do it on command, and it's hilarious.
so the next scene after this is when we see the captain coming back with the Baroness.
And this is where I was saying it felt like the Parent Trap because like the dad is cool and then
He's single.
here comes the blonde all crazy girl, you know, coming in. I was like,
Evil
I
stepmother.
don't like her. No, thank you.
Yes.
I knew where this was going.
Which honestly, the Baroness isn't that bad.
No.
she's,
Like in the grand scheme of things,
she's a little.
she's just sexy,
Yeah.
coming in like swagger.
I didn't like her voice. You don't trust the Baroness with that voice.
I mean, I didn't like her.
It's like that lady
Tactics.
who I think she's the mayor now. Where when she was campaigning in our town, Louise would like see her face on things
On the
and it'd be
billboards.
Like, what's her name? What's her name? Do you
I don't
remember?
remember. I don't remember.
I
But
don't
he's
know.
like, oh, you don't trust her. She got that hairstyle. I don't trust anybody with that hairstyle.
I remember that.
Okay.
I
Oh my
remember
God.
you saying
That's
that.
so funny.
So anywho, you don't trust baronesses with this with his voice.
I just knew when she walked in, I was like, and then she's like talking to the uncle about some schemy stuff. I was like,
Max.
So
also,
Uncle Max
whose
is
uncle
here.
is that?
Oh, we tried to figure it out.
Is it? Is
You
it
don't
a
know?
friend.
Is it the captain's brother?
No.
Because then,
No.
then the Baroness was
Captain's
saying,
dad's brother?
I don't know, because the Baroness was saying uncle too, and I was like, who's uncle?
Well, because
is
Max's
he?
last name is Detweiler. And their last name is Von Trapp. So then I thought maybe it was dead wife's brother,
Oh, maybe.
but it's not.
They were
because-
calling him uncle, and the kids knew who he was. They were like, uncle.
Yeah.
Like when they said Max is gonna.
It could have
come
been
over.
maybe like his naval chum, but he didn't seem very navally.
Right.
Maybe it's just like how we say aunt and uncle for each
Yeah.
other. I couldn't figure it out.
I mean, our kids literally call Andre and Michelle auntie and
Right,
uncle.
yeah.
So very.
No blood relation, but you know.
Because the kids were excited when he was. They
Oh,
they
yeah.
were like, "We're gonna get the Baroness," and they were like, "Okay." And Uncle Max, and they were like, "Yay!"
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, "Well, they know who he is."
Yeah, Uncle Max was a weird character for me. Like an interesting character to watch, but just it was weird that he was there because the captain had mentioned his name earlier in the movie, saying that he was going to see him later. But then when he's coming back with the Baroness, Uncle Max is in the car. So I kind of thought that he was the Baroness's uncle, and they're kind of plotting and scheming off on the side. He's like,
think
hey,
that's
I
what this
like
viewing
hanging
was
out
like,
with rich people. It's just like, me too.
He's like, I'm gonna keep my money in this rich people thing.
Right.
I was like,
let's make ourselves
something
richer.
weird's going on.
Yeah.
But you know, once the Baroness is kind of out of the picture, Uncle Max stays around. So you know, he's not necessarily directly related to her. Maybe he's just the person who introduced the captain and the Baroness
Maybe.
together or something like
Well, and the captain must like him because he's doing everything that would piss him off.
Right,
Like, if
exactly.
he really didn't like him, he would be like, bye.
that. Yeah, get out of
You
my
know?
house.
So he had to have been around before the Baroness.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I
I
think so
so,
because the
too.
kids knew who he was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was just like I couldn't figure out where he fit in like the bloodline.
Agreed.
Of things. I was like, I'm gonna stop trying. Like
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think he had to have been like a family friend
Exactly. Yeah.
type of character.
That's what I think too. But his main focus is Austria has like a music festival, basically. I guess.
He seems like what do you call it? Like a talent scout?
Right. Yeah.
And he's
an
like,
agent.
yeah, he's constantly trying to make people famous. And so he
Taking
wants,
their money, yeah.
Yeah, so he wants these kids to make him famous, pretty much.
because he sees them perform at a
Yeah.
party that they all have.
So at this point, when the dad comes back, they sing the song, and he turns right, and
Yes.
he's like, "I'm okay now.
I'm cool
Like,
now.
we're-
No more
we're good."
whistles.
That might
I
be
did
my
like
other
when-
favorite song, though. Edelweiss is pretty freaking...
Edelweiss,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it's really good. I think one of my favorite scenes, honestly, was when Maria was like telling him off, like when she's all wet in the clothes. I was like, "Get it, girl."
Exactly. She's like, you don't know these kids. These kids are cool.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh yeah.
He's like, don't tell me about my
But
kids.
I
She's
think
like,
that's-
but somebody has to. You're like,
But I think that's why he
Yeah,
likes
she
her
didn't back
because
down,
to
man.
get back.
that might be like one of the first women that like ever said something to him like
All
that.
the other-
you know?
Oh, for sure.
And he was like, "Okay."
All the other governesses must
Because he
have
calls
been,
her
like,
captain and
kind
that
of
scene, he's like-
pushovers or
And
whatever.
gets
Whatever,
hecka
Captain.
embarrassed
I mean-
about it.
Yeah.
I mean, Fräulein. I was like, "Okay."
He calls
She
her
like hecka
captain.
smiles.
That's
She's like,
so
mhm.
funny.
Very cute.
So yeah, they have a party for the Baroness, right?
Yes.
At this party, the kids are hanging out. They're out in the courtyard and
Dude,
stuff.
I told Andre I hecka want to party like that. I want to dance like that. I want to dance like that.
So she's kind of teaching the kids how to dance and whatnot.
Some like Austrian folk dance or something.
Yeah, and the captain comes out and he's like, may I cut in or whatever? So he starts dancing with Maria. And this is the first time that they're like, you know, looking into each other's eyes and they're moving around, they're moving and grooving. And the Baroness kind of sees this and starts flaring her jealous eyes.
Yeah. As to
Right.
be expected.
Right, exactly.
Someone walks in on my man's like that, I'd do the same thing. I'd be like, "Excuse you, who the heck are you?
So she's throwing
Who's
jealous eyes
you?
around.
Who's you, man?"
Who's yous? I think it is at this point when the kids sing the goodbye song. So long,
Oh, my
farewell. I'll be the
gosh.
same. Adieu.
That's one of the cutest
It's a
songs,
very
too.
cute song. Very,
The
very cute.
dance that they do to it is so cute.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty perfect.
But also at this point, I was like, not that he's like exploiting his children, but I was like, they're like putting on a show for this whole party.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
So
It's-
long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, adieu.
It's just interesting because he's like, hey, my children, they don't sing in public.
And then they just sang to like a bunch of people.
Seriously, huh?
He keeps having these weird rules. They don't sing in public.
I'll be honest.
You'll be honest about what?
Oh, I'll
Them
be
singing.
No, Luis is Captain Von Trapp. He'll be like, no.
I'm about to buy this fool some whistles for his birthday.
He has some Fox 40s in the other room. Seriously though, Luis is Captain Von Trapp because he'll be like, oh no, my kids ain't doing that. You're like, hold on, why? And he's like, oh, I'm just setting a precedent. No, they're not doing it. We're like, why don't you want to do that? Because I said no.
He was like, my kids don't sing in public, and then they're singing to this whole party.
They
I was
just
like-
sang to the Nazis practically.
I was
yeah.
like,
Oh,
you're kind
pretty
of
much, right?
exploiting your kids right now, but that wasn't them. The kids like it, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
exactly. They're having fun and they get to be part of the party.
What do we think about that song?
I love that song.
I love that song.
So cute.
It's pretty
Has
cute.
the cutest like dance to it,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
their little dance they do. to it. It's so cute. Gretel at the end.
Goodbye.
Yeah. It's very cute. All the people at the party, they just wave goodbye to all the kids.
I was like, nobody clapped after though. I was like, I'd be like, woo!
because they want them kids to stay asleep.
Go to bed. We gonna go back to drinking.
But you're
Goodbye.
right. This is where the tension really starts happening with the Baroness because they invite Maria to stay at the party.
Right. They invited her to come down and join the party.
They're
and not
inviting
just,
the help.
And
Oh,
not
no.
just be the
Dang.
But also,
Well, that's kind of how she viewed it. the
also this is
Baroness.
where like the political drama is starting to come about because they have all these visitors come in and we see Herr Zeller. He's looking at their Austrian flag. He's like, harumph. That's got not enough wiggly lines on it for me. I don't like this flag. So he
And
tells.
I asked Andre
The squiggles and the wiggles.
At this point, I was like, oh, are the Nazis coming? And he was like, yeah, I think so. I was like, oh, I thought we were just in Austria. Now the Nazis are coming.
The
Okay.
Nazis
Yep.
are coming. Yeah, the party poopers are here. So
We were having a good time. Like,
so that's there in the background, and he's like, you might want to get on the right team or whatever. And Von Trapp's like, I'm on the team that I need to be on or whatever. And so all that's happening. They invite
Pretty
Maria.
well done there, Andre.
they invite Maria to the party to be a guest, and she goes upstairs to change, and the Baroness follows her upstairs to help her. And the Baroness is like, so I seen you out there looking at my husband to be, and
Herminer.
I can
but
see.
I mean, if I was the Baroness, I would probably also
Sure,
say something
sure.
like that. Like, if someone was coming at my mans, I would be like, listen.
Which honestly, in the grand scheme of things, even though you're rooting for Maria,
Right.
it wasn't that.
It wasn't that out of character.
It was no.
to be like,
But it wasn't mean.
No.
It was just like
it was
marking
like-
territory.
it was like
I
conniving
didn't-
a little bit, but
Once get the impression that she was being mean at all.
Yeah,
she was being protective of like,
Yeah.
hey, this is I'm the one that's going to be doing this. Obviously, you're an attractive woman, and he looks at you, and I'm pretty sure you guys both love each other. But
Yeah, I think she wanted to make sure that, she wasn't some hussy all up in her house about to take her man or whatever. But then she starts talking to Maria, and it's obvious that Maria is like, pretty naive about this. She's like, well, you're obviously in love with him. And she's like, huh?
well,
Yeah,
she
she's
grew
like,
up
no,
in a
I'm not.
nunnery. I mean, like,
I don't know. Am I?
Maria grew up the whole time there.
I
Well,
think she was an orphan and went
Yeah.
there, right?
I believe
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
I think it's
damn.
implied that she got
She
there
said she
at a
found
young
her
age.
over the mountain.
And that's kind of why the nuns are like, what do we even do
Yeah.
with this girl?
Oh
you
man,
know?
that totally like
Yeah.
I glossed over that, man.
Right, yeah, because I mean, her whole thing is that she was devoted to God and all that, and she didn't want
Because
to
they
leave
took her in.
because she
Yeah.
didn't know what else she could possibly do. These are the only skills. That
Really?
she
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
You didn't get that?
No, I just thought she was such a problem that when she graduated like high school,
Shut
she didn't got
up.
anywhere else to go.
Oh my god.
She had to go to military school for girls. It's the nunnery.
I know we're all calling it a
just said-
nunnery.
Nunnery. That's what I call it.
Oh, good.
What's it called?
Indian
A chicken coop. No.
Might as well.
What
The
is
Abbey.
it called? The Abbey.
The
The Abbey.
The Abbey.
A monastery. Is that what it's actually? Whatever.
I think of like monks in a monastery.
I just thought it was a nunnery. I don't know why I've always
Nunnery.
said that. Maybe I heard it somewhere.
Now I'm gonna look it up
I
and
definitely
see.
wrote nunnery in my notes a lot.
Yeah, a nunnery.
So
I thought that was the correct term. I don't know.
So the Baroness is in there talking to Maria, giving her the lowdown. She's
The
like,
nunnery.
"You're obviously in love with the captain, and he thinks that he's in love with you." And she's like, "Huh?"
What?
This all like blows her little mind, right?
It's totally called a nunnery. Let them be.
Great,
No
thank you. I was like,
way.
it
It's the
might-
convent. That's what we're thinking of the word.
Convent. Yes, that's
but
the big word.
nunnery is
Yeah.
also a word.
It's the nunnery.
Okay, thank you.
It's where they make the nuns.
I was gonna feel very like
But it's also used as a slang for a brothel, so
Oh.
this is an
What?
issue. I'm just saying that's what the internet just
Okay.
told me.
The monastery.
Okay.
The monastery it is.
all right
So,
The monks and the Catholics together.
so once Maria gets this news that not only is she in love with the captain, but that he might be in love with her, she's like, I gotta get out of here. I don't know how to handle any of this. I gotta go. So she packs her bags and leaves that night before she even goes back downstairs.
But doesn't
to
that show
rejoin
you
the
like
party.
she's a good person though?
Yeah, she was like, I can't.
Yeah, she's like,
This is-
no.
This seems
But
like
she's
a
also
conflict
really,
of interest.
really innocent. But I mean,
I am gonna get sued
You're
for
right.
it's
this.
almost like she needed permission from the nuns to be like, "Oh, I can be in love. God, I've devoted my life to God."
Right,
and
yeah.
she's like,
Mm-hmm.
"Yeah, you know,
You can be in love
men and
and
women
be with
falling
God
in
at the
love.
same
It's
time.
okay."
I just like that she that poor girl, she went to the Abbey and did not speak. Like, she was in complete
They
silence.
were like, she's in isolation.
Yeah, she put herself in isolation, not speaking to anybody. And the poor kids, like, go to the nunnery. They go to the convent, and they're like, please let us talk to her.
To Maria.
And they're like, I'm sorry.
Oh, that was my other qualm. On the Confidence song, when she leaves the nunnery, she literally takes a train and is on a train to wherever they are going. Okay. So you're telling me the kids just hopped on a bus and went all the way over there?
These kids got money. They can do whatever they want.
I was like...
They could jump on a hot air balloon
I
and
was
say,
like,
bye.
how did they get there so fast?
These kids called an Uber.
For
okay?
some reason, I thought it was a train and not a bus.
Uber.
The Uber.
The bus
Uber.
makes sense.
It's
I
an
think
Uber,
I thought it was a train. An Uber.
That's Uber.
Now they're French. It's fine.
Supermensch Uber. Yeah.
Oh
The kids go try to talk to Maria.
All of our European listeners are smacking us right now.
Yeah, sorry,
It's
guys.
not
I don't
going
think we
well.
have any German listeners, do we?
I said European.
I think we might actually.
But
I'll look
we're
at the stats
making
later.
German accents, not European.
Yeah, there was a
Oh,
French
I
one
thought
in there somewhere.
I thought I was being like Swedish or something.
I thought I was being.
Here we go. Here we go.
So meanwhile, back at the house, the Baroness is like, all right, now's my chance. I'm going to swoop on in here and get this man. And first, all I got to do is befriend these children. And they like a fun lady, so I'm going to be a fun lady. We're going to play some sports ball. And she's just like playing catch with the kids, and they're like, this sucks. You are not as fun as Maria.
She's not
And
a
one of them
motherly
is
type.
like throwing it at her.
She keeps like dodging the ball. Which
She's
is
not
very
a motherly type, and she's also in heels. And
She's not as
stuff.
motherly.
Yeah.
I
as-
was just gonna
as-
say, what kind of fun game is that?
Yeah, it was not.
She's not. She doesn't know.
She
about
don't
kids.
know.
She don't know. So her plan is to send the kids to boarding school when she gets this money or this marriage or whatever. But the,
I'm here for Georg, not those kids.
Georg.
Thought it was George the whole time.
Yeah, they.
You did?
I mean, it's spelled G E O.
But they were saying Georg a lot.
RG.
Oh yeah, they were for sure.
Well, there's no
pronounce it
E at the
Georg.
end
There's
in
no E.
our way.
Georg. What was I saying?
I don't know.
The kids
don't
are,
like her.
The kids don't like the Baroness, and they miss Maria. Meanwhile, Maria is up at the nunnery, and she's asking mother nun. She's like, "Hey, nun,
Wait, what's that nun's name?
the Reverend Mother,
Mother Nun.
Mother Nun,
Like Mother
Eat my
Gospel?
pants.
like Mother Nun.
Mother.
I done caught feels for this captain dude, and I don't know what to
She was
do.
almost making it sound like the captain did something bad to her, though.
Well, and I think that's what she thought.
The nun thought. Like, you're making it sound like you got raped.
Mother
I'm not
Nun was
gonna
like,
lie.
"The captain?
She was like,
What did
she
he
was like,
do?"
and then something happened. I was like, oh my gosh. Just say that you love him. Like, you're making it sound
But
bad.
I think for her, that was like a sin in her mind because she had already
was.
devoted herself
Right to the Lord.
to God. So she was like,
She hadn't gone through, like, the whole thing.
Right.
But enough to be like, whoa.
Oh. So this poor girl was having the guilt on guilt.
Mm-hmm.
And I
And-
love it. Reverend Mother was like, here's the deal.
Listen,
She was like, you're going to go back and face your problems. And
Yeah.
she's like, don't make me go back.
I like that she's like, this ain't a place to run. You best go back.
Maria, we figured it out when you left. You can't stay here.
You're telling me a man likes you? Great, he will marry
Yeah,
you and
you
fix
better.
right up.
You got a house that's waiting for you. Okay, cool. Cause get out of here.
You don't have to waste her
She's
money
like,
on you.
she's like, this sounds like a good deal. I'm a nun. I didn't do this deal.
You
but
gotta go. Go
gotta
back.
go back.
Go. You better go get this man, girl. Get out of here.
God's out here
Get your
high-fiving
man.
me for this one.
So she sings "Climb Every Mountain," and Maria's like, "Oh, okay, cool. I'll be climbing."
I'll be climbing.
I'll be climbing.
What?
It's foreshadowing.
Yeah, because they climbed
Yeah,
the mountain at
I
the end.
didn't see that.
They fording all the streams.
Yeah.
Fording all the streams. Following the rainbow.
So,
Finding the dream.
so the kids.
So she goes back.
She goes back. The kids are like, everything sucks. Now all we got is this dumb Baroness.
Oh,
She's
and
not
then
fun
when they
anymore.
come back, is that the part where they come back and the captain's like, "Where were you?" And they were talking about like berry picking. They come up with the
Oh, yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my
yeah,
god,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
so funny. honey.
That's right.
He's
worst
still
lie.
being a nice dad at this point too. He's like,
knows they're
he's
lying.
like, well, if you ate all the berries,
Well,
then we're gonna just tell the cook to cancel your dinner.
Yeah.
And I was like, my dad used to say stuff like that to me. I'm like, what? No, my
You say that
dinner.
to Addie all the time.
No, my dinner.
I didn't know this
You
lie
don't
would
eat
have
your-
consequences.
You don't eat your lunch, you ain't, or your breakfast. You ain't gonna get a snack later.
That was her. That was her with me last night. She didn't want to eat the orange slices, and I was like, "That's fine. You ate the apples in your sandwich." And she was like, "I don't want these oranges." Then she pushed them away. She's like, "Can I have a bar?" I was like, "No, you can eat your oranges."
Right.
I don't think
She was
so.
like, but she's just
Oh,
like
dude,
me. I
Addie
used to
don't
do that.
mess around. New person looking at me, I'm gonna see what I could get.
Oh yeah, you should see her at school. She goes in and she's
I'm-
like,
yeah.
"Oh, teacher Ashley, like get out of here."
Oh, are you hungry?
I'm around kids too much. I know when they playing.
Heck no.
And then I was like,
They
you
were
can eat.
strawberries.
And then
Yeah.
Ollie was
Like, it's too early for strawberries. Well, they were blue. They were
They were blue strawberries. It was so cold.
They turned
yeah, because they were cold. Like you got frostbite or something. I
Kids
was
are
like,
stupid. They dumb.
I just love how the dad was like, and then I don't remember which boy it was. It was one of, it must have been Kurt or one of the little boys
Yeah,
or
I think it was
something.
Kurt.
After they said they canceled the dinner, he was like holding his stomach. He was like, oh, and I was like, it's Andre.
However, will we make it to tomorrow?
I was like, it's Andre. Because Andre's always hungry. And he, didn't you say you used to do that with your parents? Like, I'm hungry.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't go to bed.
I'm
I
hungry.
can't eat without second dinner. What about 11sies? Come on now.
Andre was like, I was always hungry. I always be telling my mom, oh, I'm so hungry. I'm like, I'm pretty sure she fed you. And he was like, yeah.
But not enough.
Growing boy.
all these
I'm a
privileged
growing
people
boy.
and their food.
Yeah, we
Growing
got a lot
boy.
of food. So the kids are singing a few of my favorite things to try to cheer themselves up, and Maria shows up. She finishes the song strong, and they're happy that they're there. But the Baroness is like, "Oh, Maria, you're back. Okay, great."
But she said she's only going to stay
You
in.
sounded to me like somebody evil.
Paul the liver.
She was a little sinister
Georg.
in there. I could feel it. But she was fine. But, yeah, she was like, I'm only going to stay until you guys line up another governess. And then Georg was like, you didn't leave without saying bye to me or the kids. And she was like,
But especially me.
she was like, I has to go. Okay. So then the kids are like, we got to fill you in. We got to fill you in. What's the tea? And they were like, Dad's getting married to the Baroness. And she was like, oh.
Oh no.
And they were like,
How long was I gone? Too long.
Yeah, right.
too
2 days,
long. Yeah. No, she's probably gone like,
a month or something. Like
yeah,
that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
A little bit of time.
Bless you.
A couple weeks at least. But I mean, the plan was for him to marry her anyways. That's why
Sure.
he brought
Yeah.
her there.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like that was the given. And when they're like, we talked about it last night and we're gonna get married. I was like, oh, romantic. So
All
cool.
the kids have to like give the Baroness a kiss, and they're like, "We're so happy to
No, they
have
were
you
just
here."
being polite.
Yeah, I didn't think they had to. They just were like,
were- they
we're
were
good
just-
kids now.
Right.
This is what we do.
This is what
Yeah,
we
they
do.
were just being polite.
That's
or
true.
They were
Whatever.
like, all right, we're not going to treat you like a crap governess. We're going to come in here.
so
Maria
she
done reformed us.
So then the Baroness comes on a little too strong, I feel like, to Georg.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like up in their bedroom and he's looking out the window at Maria like longingly and she's like, you know, I can't decide what to get you for a wedding present because you already have a fountain pen, but maybe
Dude,
I'll
she
get
was
you.
scrambling at
she was
that
like,
point.
maybe
She
I'll
about to
get
lose
you
her
a
man.
yacht. Maybe I'll get you a house. I was like, you're playing the wrong cards here, honey. He has money. He can buy his own yacht.
Exactly.
Yep.
By my own dang yacht. INDEPENDENT.
Dang.
He's an independent man. He don't need no
I think
Baroness.
she was like, we're going to go on a 3-month honeymoon and travel everywhere. I was like, whoa.
yeah.
And then he was finally like, stop.
He's like, hey, Baroness.
He was like, you know, you already know. And she was like, yeah, I know that you're not good for me.
Right.
When
She's
she
like,
like flipped it
okay.
on him,
It's
she was
fine.
like,
I love it.
but she was honest. She was like, I need somebody to like need me
Yeah.
Yeah.
because she wants that
To be
feeling.
desperately wanted.
Yeah. Well, that's fair enough. It was civil. It wasn't like bad.
Yeah, it wasn't.
you know?
It wasn't too bad.
I think the hard thing was that even if they had gotten married, she wouldn't be like happy because
Right.
now that he's like rekindled his relationship like in a more healthy way with his kids, he no longer was going to be hers.
Right. He
like
couldn't devote
only
himself to her.
Which is what she
anyway.
wanted, and I think she realized that she'll find somebody else. But like I said, relationships were kind of like that back then.
Yeah.
You know, where it was like they were both
I think she
widowed.
said you're too independent.
You know?
Yeah.
N-D-E-P.
And I need somebody who can who needs me or something.
Yeah.
Like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's fine.
And
Everybody has their own thing. That was her thing.
She
you know?
also goes, I think there's a young lady down there who will never be a nun. And he's like, oh, really?
I really appreciate that. I really love that line. And he's like, "Oh, you packing? Okay, bye."
Oh, okay. Bye, Baroness. See you later.
He skips
Have
down.
fun. Hurry up now.
Yeah, so their little next tension scene was like getting it. It wasn't like it was annoying. Maybe it's my emotions. Like I said, I just don't care anymore. But I was like, get a move on. You guys just freaking say you like each other.
The Nazis are coming.
I don't care about
Say
the
it.
Nazis coming.
The Nazis
they're
are
just
coming.
like, you know, I'm not gonna get married to the Baroness. And she's like, you're not. And I was like, oh my god, I cannot. Somebody just say they like each other.
They're out there in the gazebo.
But maybe I come on strong because I told this fool I liked him right away. I was like, by the way, I like you and you're dating me. So.
I was like, huh?
Dude.
I was like, Maria, I was like,
he's gonna
huh?
propose to you and give you a baby. So.
That's
Yeah.
very true. And here we are.
You
Yeah.
manifest what you want, people.
You manifest.
She really manifested it.
The first night they hung
Never
out.
been happier.
That's true.
You best say it.
Yes, dear.
The first night that we all hung out, we were at a benefit dinner. We go into the bathroom, the girls, right? We're all in the bathroom, and Michelle's like, "Oh, I'm marrying him."
Oh
I
my
mean,
God.
let's be real. She was
I was like,
drunk
I
as
like
a
that
skunk, and she was like, "We getting married."
Yeah, that's what
You
happens
know
when
that
you're
black guy that we with? He cute. I'm like, he is cute. Yes. Oh no, we getting married.
Y'all know that guy? And they were like, yes. And yes, he's our friend. we brought him.
And she even said to me, like, it was very cute. I probably have never said this back to you, Michelle, but she
don't
was
know if I
like,
remember, honestly.
don't you try to come on to him, like to me and Mary Angela. And I was like, well,
I thought Mary Angela and him were like dating, I think, at one
I was
point.
like, well, I'm married and we've all been friends since, you know,
I was trying to
we were
confuse
4.
with two people
Yeah, she was
uninterested
out here
in him.
like the Baroness. Like,
We were
I
like,
was like,
that's
yeah.
my man.
I think I held your hand that night, like under the table or something, and Andre was like, oh my god.
oh my God.
You put your hand in all kinds of places, okay? I don't know.
Oh, this is a family friendly
Yeah,
podcast.
let's see if that gets bleeped out. All right.
Moving on.
So
But anyway,
We went into the red on
I know, we did go into the
What?
red.
There's something here.
the poor listeners
was
just.
loud.
Anyways,
Ma'am.
the point was, it was bugging me that they were doing this, like, oh, yeah, that. Oh, and you know, I was like, somebody say they like each other already, because I can't play games like that, okay? So when he finally said something and kissed her, I was like, thank you. Like, let's move on now. We get it. You both like each other. Get married.
Okay, there's 2 things about this scene. Number 1, this is my least favorite song of the movie.
Something good.
Something good.
Yeah, I agree.
It just doesn't. I think the rest of it is so catchy and good that this was just like, this was a movie musical that I'm like, we
It
can
was
skip
supposed to be
that.
like
Yeah.
the love song, you know? But I think they could have just done the love scene and it would have been fine.
Yeah.
I think they should have done some kind of re-rendition of 16 going on 17.
But like adult
like
version.
But an adult
Yeah.
version.
Would have been cute.
Just because that's exactly where Lysol and Rolf were having their first
Yeah.
little romantic date. And so if it was mirrored in this scene with the song and the setting,
Yeah.
I think it
Yeah,
been
that
cool.
would have been cute.
Yeah.
So anyways, it cuts to them. They're going to get married.
Hold on, no. But that was the first part. No, it does. But that was the first part of that scene. The second part
okay.
is that when we were watching it, I don't know if you realize this, but it's almost all done in the dark. Like everything's
Yes.
silhouetted. And I
They
told
make their
Luis,
faces glowy.
right, but I told Luis, I was like, it's so funny watching a movie like from the 50s or 60s or whatever, because the lighting and the perspectives are so different. Like nowadays, that would never happen.
Yeah.
Like
Sure.
you would never have anything backlit. It would be like completely lit,
be
right?
quite bright, yeah.
You would see their dark faces even though you're in the dark. And so I was talking about that, but I didn't realize that that was intentional. So I read this and I was like, what in
It
the
made
world?
it feel more realistic.
So, because that's what it would feel like if you were
Yeah.
standing there.
Yeah.
But apparently, when they were in the gazebo, the lights in the gazebo were like flickering and making really funky noises.
Oh, interesting.
So, like,
Oh.
Julie Andrews couldn't keep it together, and she was like giggling and laughing, and Christopher Plummer was getting really mad.
Okay.
And so he was getting into the part where he was gonna say "I love you," and then it would make noises, and she was just like. So they turned the lights off to get the mood back under control,
out of the way.
and like do the kiss without giggling, but also without funky sound.
That's pretty unromantic with the sound in the background.
So I thought that was hilarious. Something.
That's funny. I like that.
So
cool.
there was
But
actually a reason that it was so dark.
I told Andre, like in the dark scenes, though, it was almost like they were using like a glow filter over their
Oh,
faces.
there's definitely like a love filter that they
There's
use
like
a couple
love
of times.
filter. Yeah, there was like a couple times where I was like, "Ooh, there's some filter going on."
Which
there.
is cool, you know,
I liked it.
back in the day filter.
I wish I had a back in the day filter sometimes.
So they cut to them getting married,
Oh.
which is great. Also,
I'm
I feel
saying
like,
her dress though in that
I feel
train.
like we should talk about Ralph for a second before, because so Ralph is like a telegram boy.
He's a telegram boy.
And him and Liesel are like a little thing, you know, whatever.
He only
Telegram
gets to see
boy.
her when he
So-
delivers a telegram to the house.
So yeah, but then was it at this point already that he kind of wasn't talking to her
Oh,
anymore?
for sure.
Yes.
So they get married, right? They
Well,
have-
hold on. So in the beginning, when they first do the gazebo scene,
Yeah.
right, the first day that Maria's there,
Shows up.
Right.
Liesel goes outside. They're in the gazebo. He like waited after he got the telegram. They do their little dance. She's soaking wet. They leave. And then somewhere like around the time that Maria leaves, he's trying to get her attention by throwing rocks at the window.
Uh-huh.
And Captain
captain
Von Trapp
sees.
like catches him and is like, "You MF, move."
Boy,
And
what
I
you
think
doing?
at that point he's already saying Heil Hitler.
Yeah.
Like to them.
Yes.
I was like, ooh, turn off. Oh no.
Oh yeah. He straight up comes in and is like,
He's young and malleable, you know.
and then she sees him when they're out in the town somewhere, and she's like, "Oh, Rolf, blah blah blah," and he's like, "Your dad needs to figure out what's good," and she's like, what?
Yeah.
What?
My dad is
So I felt bad. So like after they get married, which we kind of already talked about that scene. Emily likes that
love it.
reprise there. It's very cute. Liesel, like, you know, they talk to each
Yeah.
other. So and it's so cool how she's in like a skirt suit now. I was like, okay, Maria,
Skirt suit.
getting in your yellow skirt suit.
Yep.
But,
She's like, "I'm a modern
she's telling
woman, let
her,
me tell
like,
you."
What do you do when you thought you loved somebody and then they don't love you and now they're being kind of
Now they're in the Hitler Youth, and it's weird.
Oh, it's
like,
not
"Aw."
funny.
It's like her first mom conversation.
Yeah.
It's really cute. But I mean, I didn't realize that any of this was foreshadowing to anything. I was just like, oh, that's sad. Or
Yeah.
whatever, you know.
Her first love.
But they are definitely after him at this point. So they go on like a month-long honeymoon or like a 3-month honeymoon or something like that. And they're looking for him. And the kids are like, they're on the honeymoon. I don't know what you do.
Right.
What you talking about? Because
We don't know where he at.
the Nazis have
They've taken over
occupied-
Austria.
occupied at this point, you know, which happened quick. I mean,
I can't remember what was the name of it, the Austrian Wasserburg?
The what?
That's not what it's called, but there was a name for the overturn of Austria into
I don't know.
you know, Lou?
I mean, I got.
It's like, okay, go ahead. We'll figure it out.
Okay.
I don't know. But
look
at this point, I told Andre, pause the
like
movie.
it translates to the reunification or something like that.
At this point, like right after the wedding, I told Andre, pause the movie because I didn't realize it was going to keep going. I was like, oh, I thought it was done. They got married. There was 36 minutes left in this movie. And I was like, well, what are they doing? I don't get it. And Andre was like, well, the Nazis have to come now. I was like, oh. I thought we were just talking about that a little bit and it wasn't going to go anywhere.
Oh yeah, no, we
Was
go
it,
somewhere.
was it the Anschluss?
Anschluss.
The Anschluss.
Yeah.
That's
there you go.
the annexing up by the Third Reich
There you go.
in Austria. Anschluss. Is it my
Right. So
phone?
they're looking for him.
I went out here and turned it off.
They're looking for
Can
him
you hear me?
because
I can.
He's a well-known naval officer.
Yes.
Right? And I mean, that's his position.
And they're like, "You coming in to be in the Navy?"
Basically. And he
Right.
doesn't want anything to do with it, obviously.
They had put the flag on his house, and he tears it down and rips it over.
He was
Rips
like,
it
who
in
put
half.
that there? And Uncle Max was like, I don't have anything to do with that.
I was like, oh snap!
But,
they got Conan for a dad.
But
He's
Ralph,
like,
Ralph gives Liesel a telegram
Mm-hmm.
for the dad and is like, he needs to respond to this. And Liesel was like,
Immediately.
okay, whatever, dude. I just was happy to see you for a second. but it's basically calling him. He's gonna go to the Third Reich, right?
Yeah.
And he is like, I ain't doing that.
Like tomorrow.
So I know I feel bad for Maria. She's like, so soon already. We knew this was gonna come, but like, geez. And he
Yeah.
was like, Psh, I ain't doing that. We going to Switzerland. I was like, okay, let's go to Switzerland.
Pack up the kids,
Pack the
the
kids.
house.
Also,
Time
it
to
was
go.
so funny because the Uncle Max was having them practice for the thing while
festival.
the dad was gone, and the dad comes back and he's like, "Absolutely not!" And he's like, "But they were
But they were gonna sing in the
so
festival.
good. They were singing a festival.
It's gonna be good for Austria.
The kids want it.
Yeah.
It's good
I
for
think that the kids-
Austria.
It's good for Austria. I'm like,
Um,
okay.
So
And then he uses the same excuse later.
So they have to sneak out of the house because the Nazis is everywhere, right? So they've packed their bags and they're pushing the car out so that they don't start the engine, so that they don't wake up any neighbors or anything like that. They're
Dude,
being
I was
very
so
quiet.
pissed at that butler.
They
Oh, I know. What
It was
the
the butler.
we see
heck?
the butler look out the window.
He's out here
He's like,
sympathizing.
I'm not Alfred.
I was like,
and
really, the butler.
I'm not Alfred.
they push the car out of the front gate, and then
I will not keep the secret for you.
exactly. All my secrets, I let these lips loose. They go out the front gate, and
Bruce would have come
some
in.
lights turns on. It's boom. It's Nazis. I'm like,
There's a Nazi.
Because they definitely had La Cucaracha in freaking Austria. For
That was
sure.
their car horn.
Luis's van, T.I. sitting.
oh my god.
Oh, that's good.
So this is a very tense scene where they're like, "Hey, where you guys going?" And the captain's like, "We was going to
no,
the
he says
festival."
the car won't start.
That's right. The car won't start, so we had to push it out here. We were just kind of walking to the festival. That's where we're going. We're not trying to leave the country or anything like that. And he's like, "Oh, okay, all right, I see you. Where are you going to be exactly?" And they're like, we're gonna sing all the kids. That's why we got all the kids, and they dress in these costumes.
It'll be good for Austria.
They're
for
saying their
Austria.
costumes. Why are they in travel clothes? It's a costume.
It's a costume.
Dude.
Why are
I mean,
backpacks?
he's got some good reasons.
props. I
And
don't
he
know.
was like, this only has the kids' names in the brochures. And he was like, I'm obviously the head of the Von Trapp family.
I'm singing
singers.
too.
Okay.
So
Come on in.
Don't you know about Edelweiss?
So head Nazi is
Don't
like,
you know about Edelweiss?
head Nazi's like, okay, this sounds kind of fun. I'll go to a concert. As soon as the concert's over, you're coming with us. We're going overseas or wherever we're going, and you're getting enlisted. And he was like, okay, cool. Sure. Everybody in the car. All right.
And he's like, hey, yo, bro, I don't know what his name is, James. His name's not James, but he's like, hey, yo, James, go fix the car for him. And he
Yeah,
turns the
definitely
ignition
get
and
it,
he's like,
James.
oh, wow.
James, you're very good, James.
Wow.
I don't know what you did, but I couldn't get it to work. Oops.
Oh, you
So-
turned the ignition? Is that how we do this?
So they obviously had a plan B or something, you know. Okay, we're going to go to this festival. So they do the festival. They sing. It's very bittersweet, I guess you could say.
I mean, the whole crowd is mostly Austrians, and they're all having a good time. The front row is Nazis, and they're all like,
Oh, my gosh. It's so menacing.
this is very cute, children, but I will refuse to clap.
And they have them posted all around like the
Yeah.
cool
Yeah,
amphitheater
they got
thing.
guards everywhere.
God.
Yeah, so when
with
they
their
s-
guns and
Yeah,
stuff.
so when Uncle Max was like, I think the plan's going to work. It's going to be good. And they start singing the goodbye song. I was like, okay, so I know what they're going to do.
Oh, wait,
They're
so
gonna-
Uncle Max came out with their exit plan?
I guess
he
so.
was in on
Helped.
it. He was in on it.
He was helping for sure.
He was helping. So
Like so that he would announce who won the festival and they were winning. They were gonna win.
I didn't like that, though. I thought that was dumb.
What?
I said they shouldn't have put any of their names. They could have snuck out silently. But no, they were like, and in first place, the Von Trapp family singers.
Von Traps. Come
And I'm
on
like,
out, Von
now
Traps.
the Nazis know they running away. What was he doing?
Yeah.
So that was my opinion.
No, well, that's because that's his way to cover the uncle's behind.
Yeah, they had to
because,
make it so that he wasn't a
like,
part of it.
Right.
So that
He's
he didn't
announcing
know?
them, and he's like,
Oh, okay.
and he's like,
Yeah.
Okay, I
Where
didn't
could
think
they
of
have
that.
possibly
Yeah.
I didn't think of that.
that's the same reason why they left the house, because they didn't want their house people to know
Right.
for their safety.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. I
For any
get
of the
it. That's a
housemaids
good
or
explanation,
the
though.
butler.
Yeah.
To keep all of them
Selfish butler.
Save Frau Schmidt, okay? She cared.
She cares. She's always changing them curtains.
Butler. Those curtains need changing, Andre.
So the kids and everybody, like, they won the competition because Georg comes out here and he's like, Edelweiss, Edelweiss. And they're like, oh my God, this dude can get it.
And hold on. I read something fantastic. Apparently on the DVD re-release that came out like around the 50th anniversary, because this movie, 56, I think? No.
It came out in 65.
Yes, but it came out 56 years ago.
Yes.
So
I think that's right.
when it came out, they did they re-interviewed people for the DVD.
Yeah.
And he admitted to being drunk during that scene. Like recording it.
Hilarious.
Which is funny because when I'm watching it, I think he's being like smug.
Like
Right.
sad.
Like he's being kind of like smug as he's singing, like,
Suck
dude.
on this, Nazis. Edelweiss. You know what I mean?
That's hilarious.
But apparently,
Suck on this.
I'm gonna pee my pants, dude. But
We don't have
apparently,
any Nazis that listen to the podcast.
I hope not.
You guys can turn it off now, I guess.
Maybe you should put a precursor at the beginning, like.
Hey, if you're a Nazi, go ahead and turn this off.
You're a Nazi, turn it off.
You can donate to the Patreon, though, whatever.
Oh my God.
So
Done.
so they win the competition, and then they run away from Austria, right? They go and they hide out in the abbey with the nuns, and the nuns hide them
In the cemetery.
in the
It's
cemetery,
creepy.
and then it's an extremely tense scene because, like, we've all seen
I
World
kept-
War II movies.
Yeah, and I kept thinking they were still going to see the shadows of the bodies in the background because they were hiding behind the thing. I was like, you could accidentally be a little too far out.
Yeah, they were behind some huge headstones, and there's 9 of them,
Nine.
because there's 7 kids and then 2 adults.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it was tense there for a while, and I've seen
Gretel
Glorious
was like-
Bastards. I'm like, oh, this is not gonna end
Yeah.
well.
Poor Gretel was like, should we sing about our favorite thing? And she was like, no.
Gretel,
no,
shut
no.
up, shut
Cut
up,
that, Gretel. This is not a good time.
shut your cute little mouth, Gretel.
Yeah.
So the main big Nazis, they come by, they do a sweep, they don't see anybody, they walk away. Rolf comes in, and he's trying to get promoted or something. So
Yeah, he's overzealous.
he's coming around there, and he hears something, and he sees the family, and Georg comes out, and he's like, "Hey, Rolf, hey, what's going on, dude? Hey, let us go. Be chill.
he's trying to do some Jedi mind tricks.
Put the gun down, Rolf."
I was like,
You don't wanna kill any of us.
this when I was watching.
Well, and
that's why I said, I was like, he's toast now. I know how musicals go. He's gonna kill him.
Oh yeah. When I looked at Lou and I was like, the first rule of being a bad Nazi is Rolf, because he lets him get all the way to him and take the gun.
Yeah, he takes the gun right out of
Like
Rolf.
literally walks all the way up to him and pretty much just
And he was like
swoops it.
he's a kid, so he's scared or whatever. But I was like, you're not doing great. But then when he had this, he would have been fine if he hadn't said the last thing to him was like, "You'll never be one of them." I was like, now you pissed off the kid. Now he's whistling and yelling.
Yeah. So he lets them go, but as soon as they dip from his side, he goes, "Captain! Captain! They were here. They ran off. They went this way." So
I was
now
like,
it's
they gonna
just
kill him for letting them get away. Like,
Right?
It's just a chase.
And in the next, it's not even a scene. It's like a snippet. My favorite snippet of the whole freaking
Yeah,
movie.
yeah, me too.
They goes back to them jumping in their cars, and
Their
they
cars
go to
won't
the
start.
they go to Reverend Mother, and they're like, "Oh, Reverend Mother, we have sinned. I have sinned too." And then she's like, "What have you done?" And they like show them their hands,
The
and they
cut
have
brake lines,
And she's like, God will
and
forgive
the
you.
ignition
Like,
from their cars. It's like, oh, okay.
Andre and I were like, God likes that. He's cool.
God likes that.
God don't like no Nazis.
I don't think he liked the Nazis, so we're good. God will forgive you on that one. Like,
Reverend Mother just swats it away like, "Nah, you fine."
You know what?
she didn't care.
2 Hail Marys, you're good to go. Don't even worry about it.
Stop.
You're done.
I was dying too. I was like,
Woohoo.
So-
okay.
I like the sass.
So since the Von Trapps can't
Maria taught them something. Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Since the Von Trapps can't
Yeah.
drive out of the country now, it's too
The
dangerous.
borders are closed.
The borders are closed, so you know what? The only way out of here, climb every mountain. They gotta climb a mountain to get out of here. So they're just like,
I
all
was
right,
telling Austria, I was
got
like,
our traveling
in Mexico,
clothes on.
they had to go through rivers and things to get over the border. This one, they had to climb a mountain. I don't know what's worse. Like, ooh,
No.
snowy mountain. I told Andre, I said, I wouldn't even go to Switzerland. I'd just be living in the forest now. I'd be like,
Right.
We're fairies, okay? We're gonna live in this forest.
Well, and this is
Children,
the
that's all
funny
we're
part
doing.
is that they didn't actually. So, like in the real story, they did not escape over a mountain because apparently where they were in relation to the mountain, in relation to Germany, they would have been going a mountain into Germany.
Oh, okay.
And it was right where like
Come on.
it was right where Hitler has his mountain retreat.
Oh.
You know, so there's just no way that that's what they would have
He's
done.
on vacation.
Right.
Hey.
In that scary
So
mountain
which way
retreat.
did they go?
So they took a train into Italy and
Oh, they were able. So the borders weren't technically closed. They were able to.
Yeah, I guess.
Oh, Italy was an ally at the time, so
Right.
that's probably
Okay.
So they
why
were
it
get
was
into
okay.
Italy
Yeah.
and then escape from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
and then yeah, so I mean
In my head, I told Andre, I said they're probably going to end up in America, which is where. I'm
and
sure
they did.
ended
Yeah,
up.
they went to Italy and then they moved around a little bit and then they came to the United States.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah, and they were able to live, you know.
And then I think most of the kids and Maria traveled as like the Von Trapp
Von
family
Trapps.
singers.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what they called themselves,
So what
but they
did
traveled.
the captain die of? Just old age, even though he wasn't that old, or
Good question. I don't think it's said in here.
He did die and then Maria lived for another 40 years.
just like Hamilton.
It says Georg
I lived another 50
Von Trapp
years.
was
Right.
indeed an anti-Nazi opposed to Anschluss and lived with his family in a villa in the district of Salzburg. Their lifestyle, they weren't quite as rich as they were in the movie.
Yeah, I mean it's a movie. They glorify things a little bit.
Yeah.
I just want to know if he died of like a disease or like a natural cause. You know, like
The Americanism, that's what he died from.
Yeah.
He came over and was like, nope.
I don't think so.
I think my favorite
'Cause,
part
I mean,
is
I'm
that,
sure he was a little bit older than her.
yeah.
You know.
My favorite part of it is apparently like in real life, it was like the opposite where she was like more of like the harsh kind of Mary Poppins character and he was nicer and she had like a really bad temper and would get mad really easily. And then for the movie, they like switched it for like her to be the lovable one,
Yeah.
which I find hilarious because I'm now trying to think of Julie Andrews Maria as like a pain and it's just hard to
I
imagine.
mean, Julie Andrews can do anything, so she would do it.
Yeah, she probably could have done great, but
I didn't find how he died, but I did
No?
find this. It says, the character Max Detweiler, the scheming family music director, is fictional. The Von Trapps'
Okay.
family priest, the Reverend Franz Vossner, was their musical director for over 20 years and accompanied them when they left Austria. So that's interesting. He's just like an amalgamation.
Well, no wonder we
fictional,
couldn't
funny,
figure it out.
Funny
We
character.
were
Yeah,
like,
they didn't know either who this guy is.
he's out here,
What's
Uncle
the guy's
Max.
name? Georg Von Trapp?
Yeah, Georg Von Trapp.
Here's what I found from Wikipedia.
That's what it is.
Siri out here tailing
Siri
it.
got it. Yeah, I don't know exactly.
So I have a couple
I'm looking
interest.
it up. I'll figure
I have a couple
Oh, he died
interest.
of lung cancer.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go.
There it is. I have some interesting facts.
Okay.
Which and Andre and I watched a snippet of a interview with Julie Andrews and all of the kids right
kid
before we
actors.
started recording as adults.
Yeah.
And she had said this in the interview, but apparently she kept falling over during the first scene, during the mountain scene, because they obviously were shooting from a helicopter, like as she spun around with her arms
Okay,
open.
yeah, that makes sense.
And apparently every time it would go around her getting closer, she would fall down because of the
The wind.
the
from
wind from the helicopter. And she said
That's so funny.
she said the down jets were just so strong that she would fall over and that they had to do it so many times to get like enough coverage that she was getting angry because she was like, I'm trying and I keep falling over.
That is so funny.
The hills are alive with the sound of helicopters. Is what they are.
She wasn't happy about it. But yeah, so I thought that was really funny because it looks graceful. Like in no
Yeah.
way does it look like she's getting like beat up,
Yeah,
but
it just
apparently
looks like
she-
a windy day, not a.
the hills were alive, y'all. And this is the last Rodgers and Hammerstein musical.
Oh, okay.
They wrote Oklahoma and South Pacific, King and I, blah,
It
blah,
was
blah.
very, not that it's exactly the same to Oklahoma.
No, but
it's
there's
the
major similarities.
Similar era. My goodness.
Oh, yeah.
Similar.
So it opened on Broadway in 1959, and in 1960, Hammerstein died from stomach cancer. And the last song he wrote was Edelweiss. So it's right up in there. And Andre and I also saw in that thing. What was that?
It was the ABC special.
There you go.
Or whatever.
That 2 years before the movie came out, Julie Andrews actually spoofed the musical.
Right.
Like she made like a joke out of it, and like a skit. She was like stand-up comedian in Carnegie Hall, and the skit was called the Pratt Family Singers.
And it's just a bunch of like Swedish.
They're Swedish, and there's like 85 of them, and she's in the middle. So she spoofed it in 62, and then the movie came out.
65. Yeah, that's pretty funny.
And yeah, so she was kind of afraid that she was being typecast when she got this role because she had already played Mary Poppins.
Gotcha.
But she was like, yeah, it's a different kind of nanny role. Look at me. And she obviously made it her own.
Happy nanny, sassy nanny.
Right?
You know?
So two of my favorite things that I found out, number one, which we actually saw this too, is the boat scene actually really traumatized Gretel, the little one.
Poor little Gretel.
Because she couldn't swim. And they didn't tell Julie Andrews until like the moment they were going in to film it. They were like, when you fall out of the boat, fall forward so that you can catch her and then walk out with her. Oh. And so when they're filming it, it's you watch it, dude. Julie Andrews falls backwards.
Immediately, all the way back.
Like she does. Everyone else falls forward and she falls backwards out of the boat.
So she has to swim around the boat to get the Gretel.
No, but Brigida picks her up and walks her out, like because they were like, oh, she can't swim, so they pick her up and pull her out. But apparently Gretel's like, yeah, no, I don't like. Like adult Gretel or whatever her name is. Kim Carruth is like, like me and water no likey.
I'm
That's
messing
so
with
funny.
them boats.
So that's the one
That'd
thing
be
that I
Andre
like.
movie if they were like, you have to fall into the water.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think so.
I could fall into the shallows. It's all right.
Right. So that one's something I like, but the other one, what were they saying about Friedrich growing? Andre?
Oh, yeah. So apparently the kid who played Friedrich, who was like 14 years old at the time, between them shooting for 9 months of shooting, he grew like 4 inches in that time. So, they have a very specific height alignment for all the kids. And when they're first starting shooting, he's like wearing, like platform shoes so he can be tall enough. And then by the end of shooting, he's wearing no shoes and everybody else is kind of like, he's like
on boxes and
punching
stuff.
down and they're on boxes so that he's not towering over them.
I find that very funny.
Fun stuff.
One of the last things, and now I can't find it where. Oh, Christopher Plummer's voice was dubbed. He was not singing.
I just read
What?
that.
Excuse me. Excuse you.
Wait, he
Christopher
wasn't
Plummer.
singing?
No, and that makes me very mad. I was not happy about that when I read it.
Oh, I don't
Excuse
like
me.
that.
He was dubbed by...
No, and look at him as a young man. Look at that sexy man. Not singing. Excuse you. Excuse you. Very mad.
Your daddy has been revoked.
Your daddydom has been revoked.
Daddydom.
No longer.
He was dubbed by Bill Lee for all of his
Hey, well, what does Bill Lee
performances.
look like? Is he a daddy?
I don't know.
I'm gonna be sad he's not a daddy.
He don't even have a picture on IMDb. He's like
Well, what the heck?
vocal daddy. So
A vocal daddy.
so yeah, that's about it, right?
Oh,
Any more
last
facts?
funny or last interesting thing, and then I guess this isn't that interesting, but when they're doing the 16 going on 17 scene, when they were practicing it, because they do the big, it's not a huge dance scene, but it's one of the bigger duet dance scenes when they're in the gazebo doing their back and forth.
Yeah.
Apparently, one of the times they were rehearsing it, she fell backwards out of one of the windows and broke the glass and really hurt her ankle or
Dang.
something. And so they had to tape it up and bandage it. So in the scene when they're recording it, she's bandaged and they had to put makeup over her leg. And so apparently if you look really close, you can see the bandage.
Oh, okay.
But
During the movie.
yeah.
Gotcha.
So she was injured and I was like, wow, that's intense.
Good job.
Oh, my goodness.
A real glass gazebo, y'all.
The glass is dangerous.
Glass
No.
is dangerous.
Watch
I
out
would
for
never have a
glass.
glass gazebo.
Good Lord.
I don't want to
You
wash.
got kids.
Gotta wash those glass windows. I don't think so.
Kids gotta have their secret dates out there, Where else are they gonna do it?
Good
I
Lord.
don't think so.
Anywho.
So yeah, that's it for the facts. Good stuff for The Sound of Music. This movie made a buttload of money. Let me see if I can even find its budget. But let's see here. It had a budget of $8.2 million in 1965.
Which I feel like is a lot for the
It
time.
was quite a lot. I think Cinderella was not Cinderella. Snow White was like a $3 million movie or something like that.
Yeah, but they didn't have to pay for the Mary Poppins.
Exactly.
Oh,
So
pipe.
at the time, it was like number one in the box office for all of the United States. It made $159 million worldwide. And to adjust that for inflation right now, it has made $1.3 billion. Yeah, so it's number 3 on an adjusted gross lifetime box office. It's right below Gone with the Wind and Star Wars: A New Hope.
Which is hilarious because Gone with the Wind was up there for like Eva's.
You know, I've never seen that movie. I do want to watch it,
really?
but
Yeah.
that's another one that's like a commitment. Like it's even longer than
Frankly,
this.
my dear,
Isn't it like 5 hours or something?
I don't give a damn. Yeah, I think it's like 4 hours.
Yeah, that's another one I definitely want to see one day though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, this movie made a buttload of money on Rotten Tomatoes. This
I don't
film-
even want to know. Do I have to fight people?
I don't know.
Do I need to fight 'em?
I don't know if this is fightable.
He is
or not.
hiding it right now, so I can't see it.
It's gonna be like these older movies. The Rotten Tomatoes there's only so many critics, and you know.
From 72 reviews, this movie has an 83%
Okay, it's
on
not that
Rotten
bad.
Tomatoes,
It's not that
a 91% audience score.
Yeah, that's about right.
The critics' consensus says, unapologetically sweet and maybe even a little corny, The Sound of Music will win over all but the most cynical filmgoers with its classic songs and irresistible warmth.
You know what?
Cynical
You're,
film goer.
you're corny, Collins. Get out here.
Corny. So yeah, it did quite well, and it is obviously a beloved classic and has been viewed millions and millions of times by millions and millions of people. What are we gonna rate it?
I'll go first. I'm gonna give this musical a 9 out of 10.
9?
I really enjoyed it, and the songs are great, and I want to see it again. And for a 1965 movie musical, it still held up because I like things like Hello Dolly and stuff like that. But some of them you watch and they don't hold up.
It's a little
as
hard to
much.
watch.
This one definitely does. I really liked it, so I'm
Yeah.
gonna give it a 9. Luis.
I think I'll also give it a 9.
9 as well.
I am too giving it a 9.
Oh, okay, are we gonna have a clean sweep or what?
I will give it a 9 as well.
Ha! Clean sweep it.
I think you're right. This movie, it holds up. It's the performances are all good. It's still very funny, you know, and that's something that can really show you that it stands the test of time. If you find jokes from 5 decades ago still funny, you know.
Yeah, I giggled a lot in this.
Right.
Like, it's not like huge laughter,
No.
but it's like,
Yeah.
you
The
work
kids are
it.
funny, and Maria's funny, and watching the dad turn from
And even the nuns are funny.
yes, exactly.
Uncle Max is pretty funny.
Yeah, so it's all good, and the songs, as we say, they all hold up. Almost every song in this movie is a banger, and my biggest thing about it is the fact that it's 3 hours long, and
It went by fast.
it went by fast. It is very evenly paced, this movie, even for it being so long. So that is the highest praise I can give it. I sat through it and I stayed awake. Good job, The Sound of Music. Good job indeed.
And our kids, dude.
oh, they watched it
Yeah.
too?
Adeline watched the whole thing.
Nice. That's
I was-
She needed a break though, just because it was quite
Sure.
long.
Yeah.
But like
Almost
when
all
we
day.
came back the next day, she sat her butt down and was like,
ready.
"Start."
Let's go.
All right.
Sound of
Anywho,
Music.
very happy.
Indeed. Okay, so that is it for this week. Next time on the Walt Vault, we will be watching something much newer. Is that true? Am I wrong?
Yeah.
Am
Yeah.
I thinking about the right
Well,
movie?
yeah.
Well, yeah.
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 Well, not a movie next. Oh, is it a movie next?
The next episode that the listeners
You
will
can do
listen
the
to.
thing you think we're doing, and
Okay.
then we'll just move it around. Ain't nobody need to know what
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
doing.
all of our plans and
We
plots.
know plans, peoples.
The next film that we will be watching is the brand new 2021 film Encanto.
Oh no, that's not what we're doing.
That's not what we're doing.
You know
next.
what? That's fine. No.
Okay.
Put it back on.
Okay, it's fine.
Did you keep it on?
I'll keep it on.
Okay, we can do that. That's not what me and Michelle thought we were doing.
Right, we'll-
But apparently that's what we're doing. So
I thought that's what we were doing. What are we
there was
doing?
2 other things that I thought you were gonna
On a
say,
movie, remember?
That's right.
and I thought you were gonna say the brand new TV show. You
We're
very
gonna do the
confusing.
TV show first.
I'm a man of mystery.
Okay, so you guys can
Yeah.
know the next.
Christopher Plummer
You
over
guys want
here.
to know the next 3 things we're doing?
I know. We just might as well say it.
We are
Sure.
gonna do Encanto, but it might not be for a couple weeks.
Okay.
We're
Andre.
also gonna do Hawkeye.
Uh-huh.
Haha! Because we convinced Luis to watch it.
Caw.
That's actually probably what we'll talk about next.
Okay.
And then we had our listeners
listener
vote
vote.
on a movie. Emily, you want to say who won?
Twas Winnie the Pooh. And I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I was
totally okay
very
with that.
surprised though. It was all movies from the 70s. It was Winnie the Pooh, Pete's Dragon, and the original Muppets movie.
Muppets got second place, and then Pete's
I'm
Dragon.
not surprised that one.
But there was
'cause
one person who was like, "It better be Pete's Dragon." I mean, eventually we'll watch them all. But
Yeah. I will say though that I'm happy it's Winnie the Pooh for multiple reasons. It's short, it's pretty dang good, and I've already
Buddy
seen
in
it.
Hollywood watch it.
Oh yeah, the kids will just like eat it
They'll
up.
eat it up.
You know?
Indeed.
I don't know about Pete's Dragon. I don't know what they'll do, but Winnie the
Yeah.
Pooh pretty good.
I mean, the dragon's cool. Pete, not so much.
He has pink hair and he looks weird.
Yeah, so those are our next couple of projects. You'll see them.
In an order that may or may not be what we just said.
Exactly. Yeah. There's a surprise. 2022.
Ain't nobody know about nothing.
If you want to keep up with the actual order of which we will be releasing these, check us out on social media. We are at the Walt Vault Pod on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We'll let you know which one comes first. Find us there. Let us know what you thought of The Sound of Music, what your favorite song from this musical is. Let us know in the comments, or you can send an email to contact@thewaltvaultpod.com, and we'll read that message on the show. You can help support us by buying some of our merch. We've got merch up on our website, thewaltvaultpod.com. We've got some holiday things, some candles, some logos on a mug. Get yourself some of those. We've also got some apparel. We've got clothing.
Loco on a mug.
in our bonfire store. You can get Luis's face on your shirt, or you can get the logo with his names before bays. There's all kinds of stuff over there. And you can also help support us by making sure you're subscribed to the show on whatever podcast platform you're listening on. Make sure you rate and review, especially on Spotify. That's brand new, and that'll get us in front of a lot more ears and eyes. And you can go to our Patreon. That's patreon.com/thewaltvault, where you get a little bit more extra content there for a very, very low fee. And we appreciate all of you that do. That has been it for this week. We will see you next time for something good.
Some goodness.
We'll figure it out. Some kind of goodness. The vault is now closed.